Tonight from the Hilliard Davidson Athletic Complex, we battled through 9 weeks of the high school football season, and it seems appropriate that we'll have a battle between cats and dogs in the final week of the season. Number 9 ranked Grove City tries to cement a playoff spot, while Hilliard Davidson tries to get more than their feet in the door. Week number 10 of the high school football game of the week is next here on Central Ohio Sport Television. It's Senior Parents Night tonight at Hilliard Davidson High School as the Wildcats play host to the Greyhounds of Grove City. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Central Ohio Sport Television and week number 10 of the high school football campaign. I'm Randy Reinhardt, alongside WTVN analyst and former Buckeye quarterback Greg Fry. And Greg, this should be a beaut tonight between these two teams in the OCC Central.
It's a great game. It's playoff time, obviously, here in Columbus, Ohio, and you got two great football teams that really believe they're going to make the playoffs, but both of them feel they have to win to get in.
We'll touch on that in just a minute. First of all, we'll preview the teams. Grove City comes in with a mark of 8-1 on the campaign, number 9 in the state according to the AP, coached by Brian Cross in his 12th season. The catalyst, the focal point of this team, Greg, has got to be the quarterback in the play of Nathan Poole.
Absolutely. Nathan Poole's the guy on the season. He's got 14 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. He's the leader. He's got a lot of talent at running back and also at receiver. His job tonight, though, is going to be to pick up, to execute, read the blitzes by Davidson, and make sure he delivers the ball, obviously without turning over the ball. They've been plus 11 on the turnover ratio far this year, and if he executes tonight, they'll have a very good chance of winning, Randy.
And they got by Kaufman last week by a count of 34-16. For Hilliard Davidson, they are coached by John Sines in his 8th campaign, 7-2 on the season. They are 2-2 in the OCC Central, 1 game behind the squad from Grove City. I tell you what, when you look at this team, you want to talk heart and soul. You talk a guy named Darryl Stewart, and what he has had to overcome this year has been tremendous.
He's had a tremendous year, really, and obviously tonight Darryl's got to play a great football game for them to have a chance. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards. He's averaging over 7 yards a carry. He's got 14 touchdowns on the year. He's got to carry the load tonight. He's got to run the football, sustain the drives. If he does that, they're going to have a chance to win this football game.
And they were victorious last week over Groveport by a count of 31-21. Playoff ramifications like you would not believe for this contest in Division I, Region 2. We'll touch on those early in the contest, but it should be a great game in the OCC Central as Grove City takes on Hilliard Davidson. Back with the start of this contest here on Sport TV right after this. Stay tuned.
Coaxial is now Insight Communications. New name, new vision, the same friendly people. Hi, I'm Greg Graff. At Insight Communications, we've begun building a 21st century cable system in Central Ohio. Hundreds of channels with digital quality sound and picture, interactive services, high-speed internet connections, the latest technologies, all at Insight's competitive prices. Insight Communications, we're your new cable company.
Quality cable TV programming is in high demand, and Insight wants to help you find the programs you want to watch when you want to watch them. If you're a busy person like me, then a comprehensive program guide with highlights and descriptions is a must. Insight's channel guide is perfect. Easy to read grids for most of your standard channels, colorful highlights of the latest pay-per-view movies and special events, and movie descriptions for your premium channels. Best of all, it costs less than those supermarket weekly guides and has lots of money-saving Cable Saver Plus coupons.
Welcome back to Hilliard Davidson High School. Just about ready for the showdown between the Greyhounds and the Wildcats. As you see, Hilliard Davidson getting ready for Senior Parents Night here. Glad to have you aboard on Sport TV. And Greg and I were just really touching the surface of some of the ramifications of this game in the open. When you take a look at it, first of all, in Computer Points Division I, Region 2, it looks like Upper Arlington and Gahanna are locked. Still get 2 of the 4 spots. Grove City, with a win, is in, and even with a loss, it looks like they're in. So you've got a number of teams, Westerville South, Dublin Kaufman, and Hilliard Davidson all fighting for that other playoff spot, and it could be very, very interesting to see what happens. Of course, Davidson wants to win tonight, and they hope that Kaufman comes away with the upset win over South. Meanwhile, if South wins, well, South pretty much can write their own ticket as the 4th spot. Curley is doing it tonight, not with Mo and Larry. This is Chuck Curley, your referee. Your umpire is Jim Clover. Linesman is Ken Buck. Back judge is Steve Reynolds. And line judge is Bill Henderly for this contest here tonight. So, Greg, it is very confusing, but by the end of the evening, it should sort itself out. And for Grove City, if they win tonight, Greg, it looks like they could actually vault into #1 in computer points in Division I Region 2. So, as I said, some things could really happen tonight that would change the makeup of it. But it looks right now that Gahanna and Upper Arlington are locks. Grove City, even with a loss, if their opponents give them enough second-level points, they could make it in as well.
Very possible. And, you know, the bottom line, control your own destiny. And I had a chance to talk to both of these coaches tonight, and I think they both feel the same way. Win the game, and then hopefully everything else will take care of itself. But on the bright side, Randy, this is nowhere near as difficult to decipher as the BCS. So I'm pretty happy talking about this because I think we can figure this one out.
In fact, if you look at it, UCLA is only #8 in the Division I Region 2 right now, so the Bruins would never make it in. Hilliard, by the way, won the toss and deferred. Grove City will receive on your left. Couple of things. Matt Nelson, the starting defensive back and halfback on offense for Grove City, will not play. He's got a nerve problem in his leg. He will not play in this contest. And we were touching in the open about the condition of Darryl Stewart. Had his jaw broken in week #4 of the season. Greg, I understand they put a plate in there, they wire him shut, they open it up, and still he's out there playing, and he's rushed for over 1,000 yards this season.
Pretty impressive. Has not missed a beat, and he's carrying the load, and he's going to have a great game tonight. I think everybody obviously knows that, and Coach Sines believes that. And if he can run the football effectively, he's gaining over 7 yards a carry. If he can do that tonight, you know, they're going to have a chance in this football game.
Billy Paffinger's average kickoff goes to the 19-yard line. He's got it teed up at the 40. And Grove City with 3 men back deep. Lazinski's back there. He's at the top of the screen. Also back there is Brian Welsh, a great wideout. And John Mastrogiannakis is back there as well, all around the 10-yard line. Week #10, so much on the line. In fact, we will have phone contact tonight with Westerville South. And Steve Bastford has 17 computers and calculators here tonight to try to figure out the ramifications of the results of all these games. This is a great game of the OCC Central. Westerville South currently in first place. Kaufman, along with Grove City, tied for second place, each with 1 loss. Then you've got Hilliard Davidson trailing those teams. They're 2-2. How about Hilliard Davidson? They go undefeated outside the OCC Central, and they have 2 losses, and they're both inside this particular division of the OCC.
I think that speaks volumes for the talent level and the coaching level, certainly in this league. And you know, you got some great football teams, and when you're in the 10th week of the season and you've got so many teams like that still having a chance to make the playoffs, that's pretty impressive.
Well, non-league play, these teams in the OCC Central are 25-5 this season, and that's why a team like Toledo St. Francis, you would look at them and say, well, they're in 5th place in computer points, but because of the points on the line in the OCC Central, they are so massive that Toledo St. Francis probably doesn't have a prayer even if they go 9-1 and win tonight against Toledo Central Catholic.
Pretty amazing the way this can work out. You know, we've seen a couple teams in Central High go undefeated and not make the playoffs. So that's, you know, you got to win your games. But if you play a tough schedule and the teams that you beat keep winning, it may be in your favor.
I hate to give you a hard time with those parochial schools because I know you get very upset about that. How about St. X? Do they have a chance?
Oh, yes, they do. They beat Moeller last week. What more can you ask for?
He is smiling right now.
That's right.
They are #1 right now in Division I Region 4. Coleraine is 2nd. Centerville 3rd. Winton Woods out of Cincinnati in 4th place. So it looks like those Bombers are headed for the playoffs.
Could be interesting.
Teed up at the 40. I think we've got everything straightened out down on the field. We're ready. Week #10 of high school football action here on Sport TV. Mastrogiannakis coming back from the 13-yard line across the 20, the 25, the 30, and hurdles forward to the 32-yard line. And that's where the Hounds will start barking. 1st and 10, 7 seconds into this contest.
Pretty good field position. And here we go. Nathan Poole. He's going to be the guy you want to watch for. He's calling the shots.
And I tell you what, he is something else. And just a junior. Welsh, Hines, Turman, and Nelson will not start. It'll be Reiner in his place and Amorine. The backs and receivers to watch. Up front, Johnson, Mays, Merritt, Swigert, and Pesci. And Nathan Poole, the junior leader at quarterback. 1st and 10 from just past the 33-yard line. And the handoff inside, and there is nothing there. Maybe a half yard on the play, and that is about it for the Hounds on the first carry. It is Justin Turman carrying the ball for the Greyhounds. The defense of Hilliard Davidson, a 4-3 with Buck, Besson, Caswell, and Holstein up front. Linebackers Weatherby, Tucker, and Brake. Brake is something else. He'll go D1 in college football. Secondary, Van Horn, McKinney, along with Fallon, and Bo Reese. Gain of a half yard on the play, if that. Second down and still nearly just about 10. And this time, Poole from the shotgun. That was very effective last week, buying him some time against Dublin Kaufman. Looking downfield, looking long, and the pass is going to be picked off on the play. No, they say incomplete. On the coverage was Bo Reese.
Looked like a little bit of indecision there on the part of Nathan Poole. He had his receiver open on a short route and decided to go up top and really threw it up for grabs. Let's look at the replay here. To go out of the shotgun, which we may see a lot of tonight. A little bit indecisive, it could be caused by nerves early in the game, and throws it up top. And, he feels he's got some taller receivers, and because of that, he can throw the ball a little higher, and he thinks they're going to make some plays.
Welsh became a defensive back on that play, and a great job of the camera work. You could see the ball did hit the turf. There's Poole, the quarterback, 103 out of 197 passing for 1,481 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. The handoff goes to Reiner, but whistles and flags on the field, and this one could go on the house. Indeed, we have a false start on the offense with 11:09 left to go in the quarter. So Reiner and Turman in the backfield offensively for Grove City, and that's something that Brian Cross was touching on, Greg. He wanted to see Nelson and Turman back there because it gives him good size, with Nelson at 6 feet 194 and Turman at 6'1 and 216. But because of that nerve injury, they're going with Reiner, who is a water bug out there. He's listed at 5'9 and 152, probably closer to on a good day 145 and about 5'7.
That's right. But he can still get it done.
Third down and 15 from the 29-yard line.
Around
the wing back, spinning and twirling up to around the 38, maybe the 39-yard line. That is Joe Amorine, who we saw earlier this season on Sport TV have an outstanding catch for a touchdown against Worthington Kilbourne. But they'll come up shy of the first down by about 5 yards, and that will force the Hounds to punt.
Bit of a conservative call there on the part of Grove City with 3rd and long, but they still have pretty good field position, and I think they feel like if they can win the field position game tonight, they're going to be in pretty good shape.
To Price on to kick, averaging 38.2 yards a punt. Bo Reese standing back at his own 27. Price with the kick, a line driver. Reese at the 31-yard line. Sidesteps his own blocker, gets across the 35. Evades 2 hits before he's brought down at the 40. So returns at about 9 yards, and with 10:23 left to go in the quarter, Wildcats with excellent field position, 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. And they've got a good offense, mostly big plays though. Gasaway, Brake, Minix, Sharon, and Stewart. Minix, something else, set the receiving record last week. Caswell, Bradford, Griffin, Byerly, and Tabaka up front in the interior of that line. And Brad Shriver, the quarterback for Davidson, a 2-year starter, a smart kid, does an outstanding job leading this offense. Against Marion Harding with some key numbers. He was 12 out of 15 passing for 177 yards. So 1st and 10 from the 40, and just like that, Shriver looking to throw downfield. He's got a man wide open and in and out of his hands. The intended receiver was Mark Minix, the guy I was talking about with the reception record on the season. 36 catches, 596 yards. Facing a tough defense tonight from Grove City, a base 4-3 with Turman up front along with Evans, Shemrick, and Spangler. Linebackers, 3 good ones, Byram, Ford, and Curry. In the secondary, it's Mastrogiannakis, Price, Baczynski, and Troy Snyder. 2nd and 10 now from the 40.
Well, I talked to John Sines before the game, and he said he was going to come out and give the quarterback, Brad Shriver, a chance to have a run play option on the first pass, and he threw a nice ball and just a little bit high.
Shriver on the keeper out across the 45 and near the 48-yard line. That's something else we'll see them do tonight. Something they haven't done that much this season. Shriver is an outstanding athlete, very quick of foot, but has shown the tendency to want to throw the ball. But they think they can feature him more as a running back on that keeper play, and they figured they could probably pick up 5 to 6 yards a couple of times on each drive, and that time picks up 8, sets up a 3rd and short situation. It's 3rd down and 2.
Well, there's your evidence right there. He picks up about 8 yards, and now you got 3rd and 2 instead of a 3rd and long situation.
Mark the ball at the 48-yard line. 9:42 left to go in the quarter. The handoff goes to the tailback. They get it up to the 48.5-yard line, and the Grove City defense is waiting right there for Darrell Stewart.
Well, Darrell Stewart's the guy they want to have. They want him to carry the football tonight and carry this football team literally. And 3rd and short, you would think he's going to get the first down, but we see Grove City's pretty pumped up on defense.
Nothing there. Good job inside by guys like Geno Evans, John Shemrick, Clinton Ford to help make the hit. Mark the ball at the 49-yard line. And hey, look at this. They need everything, right? So they're coming up to the line of scrimmage like they're going for it. We'll see if they shift out of it, though. They do.
And they do. You've seen a few high school games this year, have you not?
Oh, I think 10. Stewart is the kicker, by the way, averaging about 31.5 yards per punt, and a flag. Did they take too long, perhaps? The answer is yes.
You're 2 for 2 tonight, huh? I'm impressed.
I'm on a roll. Actually, I'm 2 for 847. So look along the near sidelines. There's John Sines. Had a great coaching career at Chillicothe before his tenure here at Hilliard Davidson High School. He's a throwback coach, isn't he?
He really is. You know, I had a chance to go on a golf trip with John a couple years ago, and if John watches this on TV, John, don't worry, I won't tell any stories, but he used to refer to this Chile place, and I'm like, did he coach in Chile? Where's Chile at? And then as I listened to him more, I kind of figured it out, so now I know.
Kick is high and short off the right side of the foot of Stewart. Exits stage right at around the 38, maybe the 39-yard line. So a short punt with 8:50 left to go in the quarter. In Grove City, Greg Fry gets the ball back just about where they gave it up from.
Well, and I think that's, you know, they had the 3rd and long in the last series, and they went ahead and ran the trap and gained some positive yardage. Really didn't try to make any big plays, and I think they felt like they were going to get the ball back. And you know, now you see a special teams gaff, a shank punt. Now they got the ball in pretty good field position again.
18 yards on that punt. 1st and 10 from nearly the 39-yard line. Handoff goes to Reiner. Reiner gets to the 39, and that's about it. A couple Wildcats there to make the hit. Among them, the outside linebacker, number 42, DJ Weatherby.
Nice play by DJ coming up and making a one-on-one tackle there. That play had a chance to go somewhere.
One other thing we should mention while we're talking about ratings and rankings and computer points and everything, the AP pullout for this week, and the #1 team in the state is Upper Arlington. Congratulations to Darrell Main and the Golden Bears. The first time they've been #1 in the state in a high school football poll since the last time the tie-dye was popular. The handoff goes to Amrine. A big hole off the left-hand side, out across the 45, midfield 45, Amrine to the 40, 35, Amrine. One man to beat to the 20, to the 15, and brought down from behind. A saving tackle on the play for the Wildcats. It looks like it's Sean Fallon who makes the hit.
Sean Fallon, nice play there. I'll tell you what, it looked like Amrine was going to go all the way, and Sean comes up and makes the play. You never know. Sometimes a touchdown saving tackle like this can go a long way in a football game. You see the replay here. Nice blocking up front. Joe does a nice job reading it. He cuts back, gives his blockers downfield a chance to make their plays, and he's off to the races. Cuts back one more time. Makes Rocky Van Horn miss, and there he goes.
49 yards on the run. 1st and 10 now. The ball resting at the 13-yard line. Pull once more. Throws. The pass complete inside the 5-yard line, down around the 4 and maybe to the 3. On the reception for the Greyhounds is split end number 7, Brian Welsh, the 3-year starter. Comes into this contest with 32 catches, good for 464 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Well, John Sines talked about coming in. One of the keys defensively was to pressure the quarterback, to get after him. He said last year, obviously, Nathan Poole had a lot of time to throw and really picked him apart. And evidenced by this play, if Nathan Poole sees a soft corner like this, he's going to go ahead and throw the football.
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1 from the 4-yard line. Reiner sees an opening left side, inside the 3, down to the 2-yard line. Not into the end zone, but should have enough for a 1st and goal for the Greyhounds.
I think he's using all that 145 pounds or 152 to try to get in the end zone, but denied there. Davidson's going to try to hold him out.
And a timeout taken on the field. Let's see who's going to take that. Is it an official's timeout? Yes, it is. And now they decide to restart the clock. And the line judge wanted a timeout, and I think he wanted a quick conversation, and he had it with our referee, so we're back in play with 6:45 and ticking.
But they do have a 1st down.
From the 2-yard line. Reiner. Not this time. No less than 5 Wildcats ready to make that hit. I'll tell you a guy that sold out and came up from the secondary from the get-go, and that was Kevin McKinney.
Well, he sure did. That's some good tackling right there. Really shoulder pad square, putting the hit on Dan Reiner. But Dan Reiner, as little as he is, not afraid to take somebody on, as we see here in the replay. Off tackle, he's wanting to get in the end zone. But nice job. Great pursuit, especially from the backside by the home team.
Aaron Besson, the defensive tackle, also there to make an initial hit, a 2-year starter. Described by John Sines as the best defensive player on the line. Gets double team all the time and still does the job. And the guy getting up a little slow and coming off the field is a big cog defensively for the squad, and that is number 54, Mark Tucker, the middle linebacker.
Looks like a shoulder there. He's letting his arm hang a little bit. Could be a stinger.
He was in on 22 hits earlier this season against Westerville South. On that play, Greg, they lose nearly 2, so it'll be 2nd and goal from near the 4-yard line with 6:26 left to go first quarter.
Coach Sines mentioned that Mark Tucker is very physical, and I think you might see right there, hopefully get back in the game, but he probably took a shot there trying to make the tackle.
Look at this, 3 backs in the backfield. Stacked for the Hounds. 3rd man through, gets the carry, and fighting and fighting and fighting. It looks to be Reiner, and Reiner's inside the 1-yard line.
Well, I talked to Coach Cross before the game, and he said that Davidson likes to run the Chicago Bear defense, which is really putting a lot of guys, dedicating a lot of guys to the line of scrimmage. He said that to combat that, one of the things they would do is run the triple I.
And they use it on that play, and they pick up a little bit more than 3. Now you can see why they want to use a guy like Nelson, and why it hurts to have him injured. But that's why I think Amorine was so effective with his bulk, going 6'4" and 193 pounds. But Reiner's big in heart, and he gains in 3 yards on that play. It's 3rd down and goal from inside the 1-yard line. Handoff, 2nd man through, touchdown, Grove City. On the carry, looks to be Jason Burke with the touchdown with 5:28 left to go, and it's 6-0 Grove City.
Well, when you get the triple I like that, it's guesswork trying to see who's going to get the football, but Jason's the guy, and you know, on that series we saw 3 different guys carry the football effectively.
Extra point time for Grove City. The kick is up. It is good by Joe Jordan, and now the Hounds up by a count of 7-0 with 5:28 left to go here in the first quarter.
Well, I think we can see right there, Grove City is very effective running the football. They got the job done, especially up front. You got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line in that drive. Amorine obviously had a big run to set up the touchdown, but those guys up front are getting it done, Randy.
Hats off to Johnson, Mays, Merritt, Swigert, and Pesci for the job they're doing, and the tight end, Matt Heinz. Good size at 6'3", 214. And we'll take a look at the touchdown play one more time.
Burke is the 2nd back in the triple I set. And he plugs it in.
2-year starter, and on the season, 78 carries, good for 502 yards, 6.4 yard average. And now give him 6 touchdowns on the ground this season and give the Hounds a 7-0 lead with 5:28 on the clock. And looking at that drive, it was 7 plays, 61 yards, took 3:22 off the clock. Burke, the 1-yard jaunt, and Jordan adds the PAT. We're at 7-0.
You know, I wanted to make a point. Dan Reiner really impressed me running the football on that drive, despite the fact that he was denied a couple times. But he shows a nice low center of gravity for only being we'll give him a $1.50 and say, be generous, but does a nice job keeping low center of gravity and running hard.
What a catch by Stewart, and I tell you what, Greg, he nearly breaks that one. He gets it out to around the 33-yard line. It looked like he caught the back end of that football without bending all the way over, didn't touch his knee.
It's called super glue, Randy.
And took it right up the gut, returned it about 28 yards, and they have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 33-yard line. And the Wildcats barely had a chance to touch the pigskin, and they're down now by a count of 7-0. Let's see what they can do.
Look, he had some stickum on his hands there.
He's on your little Blitnikoff action.
That's
there.
right.
Minix in motion from the 33. Shriver to throw, and pass incomplete with 5:19 left to go. It'll be 2nd and 10.
A little play action there and trying to dump it to one of his tight ends, and really his backside tight end appeared to be open. It looks like Mike Brake was coming across the middle late, and Brad didn't have enough time to turn around and make the throw to Mike. We're seeing a little play action. They pull a guard to the backside, and Brad gets his shoulders around, does a nice job to deliver the football, but gets knocked down.
So after the deflection, it's now 2nd and 10 from the 33.
You have to take a lesson from Doug Flutie on how to get the ball around one of those guys.
Handoff goes inside, and fighting across the 35 up to around the 40-yard line is Stewart. We've touched on Stewart and what he has done, and you talk about his courage with the broken jaw. He was something else last week against Groveport. 25 carries, 243 yards, touchdown runs of 51 and 92 yards.
Pretty darn impressive, and you can tell just on that play, he ran over 2 guys to gain about 6 yards to give him a 3rd and 3.
With the ball resting at the 40. Down to 4:45 left to go in the quarter. 2 wideouts to the top. Stewart now readjusts in the backfield. Hounds are coming. Stewart's trying to go, and he gets up near the sticks. And just like the prior series, He may have been stopped short at around the 42.5-yard line. Let's see where they spot it. He gets a nice spot across the 43.
Pretty generous spot, I would say there.
We might get a measurement, and indeed we will. An official's timeout. Greg wants one. We got it.
Looks awful close.
We touched on the importance of this contest. You know, when you look at it, what Westerville South has done is truly amazing. It looked like they were down and out. They lose Brandon Joe. They bounce back. They're 7-2, fighting for the playoffs. Take a look at this one more time.
Did he get it? Looks like forward progress might have pushed him up there.
It did indeed. Baczynski with a nice hit trying to drive him back, but it's a first down for the Wildcats from their own 43-yard line. How about Kaufman, too? We saw them earlier this season get their clock cleaned by Upper Arlington, but they've bounced back. Grove City, we saw them here on Sport TV, impressive against Kilbourne. And our first chance to see Hilliard Davidson. So you've seen all the top teams in Division I right here in Central Ohio on Sport TV. See time remaining in the quarter from their own 43. It'll be Stewart. Barrel out across the 45-yard line to maybe the 46-yard line.
Slow developing play. It looks like the guys up front did a pretty good job there, but Grove City did a nice job of stretching that play out and making Darrell Stewart run to the sideline. That's the 12th man. Run him to the sideline. He can't go anywhere when he gets there.
I'll tell you what, Snyder did a great job for the secondary, but really the strong side linebacker, Eric Byron, did a good job of stringing that thing out. And Byron, 6'2", 200, and he is but a sophomore for head coach Brian Cross.
Pretty impressive.
Mark it out to the 46-yard line. It'll be second down and 7. 3:35 left to go.
Reverse.
Coming back around. The handoff on the play. Goes to Heminger. Heminger across the 40, 35, the 5'3". I said the 5'3". Scatback has it all the way down to the 33-yard line. He is something special.
Well, Drew Price going to be saved today there really for Grove City, but you know, nice job. John Sines really feels like he's got nothing to lose and ran the ball a couple times straight to Darrell Stewart and comes back with a reverse, and now he's in business.
Heminger has it all the way down to the 33-yard line, and this guy can scoot. He averages on a kickoff return 37.2 yards, took one back 84 yards for a score earlier this season.
Even though he's the backup at tailback to Darrell Stewart, he's a guy that carries the ball quite a bit, and you can see his speed here. But a nice job executing on the blocking on the weak side to get it free in the secondary.
And yes, he is durable even at 5'3". Handoff goes to the fullback this time, and fighting all the way down to the 30-yard line to pick up about 3 on the play is Jimmy Sharon. And this guy, kind of like Jamar Martin at Ohio State, is a throwback to the old-style fullback. He's 6 feet, 235 pounds, a senior, and as John Sines says, most of the time he's downright nasty.
He really is, and he can catch the ball too. I mean, not only is he's almost got 400 yards rushing for the year, but almost 100 rushing, or receiving, I should say, and 11 touchdowns. And evidenced by that play, he stuffed at the line of scrimmage, and Randy finds a way to get 3 yards.
2.5 left to go in the quarter. Davidson driving under that man's guidance, Brad Schreiber, but down by a converted touchdown. It'll be Stewart. Big opening off the right-hand side across the 25 and down to around the 23, maybe the 22. And when you look at Stewart, here is a guy, Greg, that has not been running at tailback his entire career. In fact, the end of his sophomore year, they said, you know what, I think this guy might be a great running back, and they converted him just a year and a half ago.
Well, I think you can see by that play, though, he's got speed, he's got power, he can certainly read a defense, shakes off a couple tacklers, and Joe Baczynski ends up taking the hit and really gets carried for 2 extra yards on behalf of Darrell Stewart.
Mark it inside the 22. 1st and 10 from there with 3 wideouts to the top of the formation.
Looks like man coverage.
This time, Shriver will keep. This time, he gets nailed back at around the 26-yard line. Nothing there. He was going to take it around the right-hand side. One of the first guys to come through there to make the hit. Big number 64, the middle linebacker, Clinton Ford for the Hounds.
Well, Randy, I think that's that play you talked about as far as getting Brad Shriver out to the outside for a quarterback keep. When you've got man coverage like that, the quarterback's dangerous because nobody's assigned to him. And Grove City did a nice job. They're really coming after him and containing him and not letting him get to the outside.
Things coming into focus here in week number 10 of the season. A whistle, and we have timeout taken on the field. Yes, we do, by the Wildcats. They burn a timeout. That is their first. They have 2 remaining, and Grove City with their full complement of 3 as John Sines goes out to talk to his troops. And Brian Cross, here's a guy that's done an outstanding job on the other side for 12 years leading Grove City. Before that, 2 years at Eastmoor. And before that, 3 years at Pymatuning Valley. And before that, I saw him, and I have his autograph as a member of the Youngstown Hard Hats, the semi-pro football team.
Now that's impressive.
He was a tight end. 71-51, the count there. 7-0, the counts on the scoreboard that matters in favor of the Hounds. They're
Well,
8-1, and Davidson at 7-2.
Absolutely. Both teams moving to football at this point in time. You know, the key really for Davidson, they've been able to move the football all year, but they got to cash in. When they get inside the red zone, they're on the 25-yard line now. They're knocking, but as Coach Sines said, they got to find a way to stick it in, and that's going to be down and really rest on the shoulders of Brad Shriver. And he's got to find a way to either do it himself or make sure he delivers the ball to the right person, and that person may well be Darryl Stewart or Jimmy Sharon for that matter.
In fact, that touchdown by Grove City, Greg, just the second one they've given up in the first quarter all season. Hilliard Davidson had outscored their opponents 83-9 in the first stanza to this point in time. Shriver will keep loose the football. It's free inside the 25 and around the 24. I think the Hounds have it. Looks like coming up with the football.
John Spangler, maybe.
John Spangler, the defensive end, with 7 sacks on the season, along with 55 solos and 24 assists. And now he's got 2 fumble recoveries on the season.
Well, Brad Shriver, we're going to see the replay here. Brad Shriver rolls to his left, decides he's going to run the football. Got to do a better job protecting the football. Nice job of the Grove City defense stripping it away. And John Spangler, Johnny on the spot, jumps on the ball.
I like that.
Got a turnover. And as you know, turnovers are huge in a game like this.
I think Ford may have stripped it. 1st and 10 from the 24. Handoff goes inside. Big hole right up the middle across the 35, up to the 40, and maybe the 41-yard line.
On the ground.
Yep, Turman, did he lose it? Hilliard says he did. Let's see. Yes, they're going to get it. Hilliard, they get it back. A huge gain up the middle, but it falls into the hands of Kevin McKinney.
I'm going to say it again. Turnovers can really be huge in a game like this, Randy. I don't believe what I just saw.
Well, it looked like Turman was motoring, and all of a sudden at the end of the play lost the handle, and McKinney, another guy that's Johnny on the spot, makes the recovery.
Big hole. Justin Turman busts loose, and we'll see at the end, does the ball come out? Yeah, I think it does in that last hit.
If it does, it's because of the contact at the end of the play by McKinney. He also recovers it. Drake is wide at the top along with Minix. Tight end to the bottom of the formation is Gassaway. 1st and 10 from the 40. 1:08 left to go in the quarter. Shriver to throw. Looking downfield's got a man. It's complete across the middle. And it goes to Brink, who's down to the 25-yard line.
Brad Shriver's got a chance to redeem himself right here, and that play is going to get him headed in the right direction. John Sines talked about his confidence. If Brad can hit a few passes early and get his confidence going, he could be a very streaky quarterback.
Break 9 catches, 167 yards. Take a look at the fumble from a different angle. Watch the knee, watch the ball.
Ooh. We'll defer that one to further replay.
Let me say again, 1st and 10 from the 25. Stewart trying to turn the corner. And I tell you what, once again, the Hounds do a great job of stringing out that play. Take your pick. There's about 4 or 5 guys there, but the entire front 7 did a good job with some support from the secondary of stringing that play out for a short game.
Once again, they stretched it out like you said, and you know, you got to run the ball north and south. As good as Darryl Stewart is, he's got to be able to run the ball north and south to find the end zone. And as John Sines said, they got to stick it in. They can't run laterally on the field.
Snyder again coming up from that quarterback slot to help to make the hit on the play. They pick up 1 on the play. Nearly down to half a minute left in the quarter. 2nd and 9 from the 24-yard line.
Well, we've been in this situation before, I think, about 2 minutes ago.
Minix in motion. Shriver rolling, looking, pressure's on, trying to find the opening. Down to the 20-yard line, tucks the football in and goes down at around the 21 with 25 seconds left in the quarter.
Well, he does, and he had a couple receivers that might have been open, might not have been open, but I think a pretty good job. Good decision there by Brad Shriver. He rolls to his left, we're going to see here. Looks, decides he's not going to throw it to his receivers, tucks it in. This time he's going to hold onto the football and gets north and south. And now instead of having a 2nd and long, they're going to have a 3rd and 5 maybe.
That'll be the way that we start the second quarter, Greg, because he's having a conversation with John Sines and company right now. 12 minutes in the books, 1 touchdown. Grove City with the honors. And after the first quarter of play, the Hounds on top of the Cats by a count of 7-0. You are watching week number 10 of the high school football game of the week on Central Ohio Sports Television.
blink of an eye. The channel can switch. The mood can swing. The world can change. And Time Warner Communications brings it home to you every day. With on-time guarantees and fast, reliable service. So if you want television at its best, we'll be there to help. In the blink of an eye. Time Warner Communications. Imagine what's next.
Hi, I'm Jim Lachey. When I played football, I was fortunate enough to play at Ohio State, where I was named an All-American, and in the NFL, where I was an All-Pro. When I look back at my career, I always remember the great time I had participating in high school, where I was a member of the football, basketball, and track and field teams. The times haven't changed much since my playing days because high school sports are still important today, and participation is an all-time high. So be supportive of your local high school sports programs. Our young people deserve it.
Hilliard Davidson High School. Grove City on top by a count of 7-0. I can tell you that early in the second quarter, they are scoreless. Kaufman and Westerville South. And you're up to date on everything going on in the OCC Central and all the ramifications that could have in Division I Region 2. Down at just about time to the 20. And Shriver looking and pressure's on, gets away, but then gets hammered at the 28. And a ball loose well. And are they going to say it's a fumble, though? And John Spangler's got the ball again. And Shriver is not getting up. There's also a flag at the 25-yard line. I think the flag's going to be a holding call. It's declined. Decline is the play. And Shriver is hopping off the field. In fact, he has to get past the 20-yard line placard. Now it's going to be assisted off the field. We're wondering, Kevin McKinney listed as the backup quarterback for the Wildcats. So a turnover. The Hounds get it back. Just past their 27-yard line. One thing we touched on earlier this season is the pressure points. Football, there's 3. You've got to protect them all. Still Grove City knocks it away. Replay again here.
Brad Shriver running to his left. Got to tuck it in and
Back to live action on the carry. That is big number 32, Jason Burke, who scored the touchdown. He rambles out across the 35-yard line for a nice gain on first down. 15 seconds into the second quarter. I'm Randy Reinhardt alongside Greg Fry. Statistician is always Steve Bassford. Glad to have you aboard for week number 10 of the high school football game of the week as they attend right now to the leg of Brad Shriver's. We look at the numbers, Greg, from the first quarter.
Well, as you can see, both teams moving the football fairly well, but you know, total yards 86 to 72, but I think the turnovers we see even now, but Hilliard starts out with a turnover in the second quarter, and I think that's going to hurt him in the long run. Grove City's got a chance to cash in here.
Gain of 9.5 on first down. On second down, they keep it inside and maybe pick up a half yard on the play, and that is about it. And that's all they really needed, though, to get the first down. We'll see if they have it as Jason Burke is on the carry one more time with 11:03 left to go in the first half.
Opportunity exists now for Grove City to put the ball in the end zone and go up 14-0. When you get 2 turnovers when you're on the road like that, you got to take advantage of them when you get them.
And you know what? No gain. Third and still about a half yard with 10:47 left to go in the half.
And here's your triple I.
One more time in the backfield, and the handoff this time is not going to go to the first man through. It's going to go to the second man through, and they will ramble up to the 47, maybe the 48-yard line, and the Greyhounds have enough for a first down.
Jason Burke again carries for the first down.
He's been a workhorse in the first quarter.
Yes,
we touched on the other running backs, yet he is the leading rusher on the season with over 500 yards. Great balance when it comes to running the ball this season for Grove City. And Burke carrying more of the load tonight because, as we said, Nelson was going to be a starter in the backfield.
Well, even with Nelson out, we've seen Ameren, Turman, Burke, and Reiner all carry the football and carry it effectively.
First and 10 now from the 48-yard line. This time the wingback coming inside. That is Ameren. Ameren gets up to maybe the 49-yard line. A gain of 1 on the play, or perhaps 2 as he falls forward, and that's about it.
Well, Grove City's done a nice job running the football. I'm just waiting for that play action pass here to come soon with Nathan Poole, because he's only thrown a couple passes in this game. He's looked sharp, so I'm waiting to see when it comes. It's going to come.
And Greg, they spent about 5 seconds in the huddle, and that was about it. Ameren is wide of the bottom of the formation. He's got single coverage out here. We'll see what happens on second down from midfield. Poole looking for Ameren. The quick pop. It's complete. Down to the 42, the 41, and down to the 40. You can kind of smell that one, and he picks up 10 on the first down, too. Good enough for a gain of 10 with 9:40 left to go in the first half.
Well, we've seen Nathan Poole complete 2 of those. I call it it's a short hitch. It's a 5-yard route, real short route. Amrine catches the ball. Nathan does a nice job delivering the ball on time, gives Joe a chance to catch the ball, put a move on it. As we see, it's really a 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3. Delivers the ball. Nice job by Joe going up, catching it, and gaining first down.
Amrine 20 catches for 453 yards on the season. The handoff goes inside. There is nothing there. Getting smashed at the line of scrimmage is Jason Burke. Take your pick. There were 3 guys there. Among them, big number 42, DJ Weatherby, along with number 33, Mike Brake.
Well, David's got to make a stand here. You know, they've made 2 turnovers here in the last 2 offensive series, and their defense has got to keep them in this football game. They cannot afford to go down 2 touchdowns to a Grove City offense that can move the ball on the ground and through the air.
Shriver's still working on his leg right now, trying to see if he can plant and move, and he's not happy with the results he's seen so far. From the shotgun this time, from the 40-yard line, 2nd and 10, 8:48 in a half.
Got man coverage. He's got one-on-one.
To Burke across the 40, cuts back inside the 35-yard line. Nice gain on the play. Final tackle made by Rocky Van Horn.
Nice job by the Nathan Poole, recognizing what's coming at him. He's got man coverage. He's got a lot of guys in his face. He knows he's got his fullback, Jason Burke, one-on-one with the linebacker, delivers the ball to him, allows him to make a move, and Jason almost sneaks free of 2 different defenders.
And there's the dump in the flat, and Burke is a guy that looks like maybe the workhorse in this contest with the injury to Matt Nelson, although Burke is a guy that's done a lot already this season. As you see Brian Cross in the huddle talking to his squad. Brian's the kind of guy that when you talk to him, Greg, it's amazing. He's got an answer for everything. He is never at a loss for words. I mean, you ask a highly technical question, he is immediately ready with the response. I've never met a coach like Brian on the high school level, and I like the fact that he's going with the shorts there.
Well, I didn't have him on a pregame though. He was staying warm in pregame, but I got a lot of respect for him. And you know, I had a chance to chat with him a little bit in pregame, and he was playing a little bit of the politician role too, trying to lobby for my beliefs in Central Ohio football. And you know, I told him a little bit about the St. X Moeller game that I saw last week, but I did tell him I've got a lot of respect for Central Ohio football, and I am definitely pulling for whoever comes out of Central Ohio this year.
Yeah, St. X is not in the top 10 right now. I just thought I'd point that out.
That's fine.
Upper Arlington is number 1. Gehanna is number 8, and Grove City is number 9.
Doesn't matter where you are now. It matters where you are in about 4 weeks.
Lovely Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon, Ohio.
Pick it, Rock.
3rd and 5 from the 35. Pull to throw. The pass. What an adjustment to the football along the far side of the field. They were going to go to the outside shoulder, caught it on the inside shoulder, and Mike Maxson, one of the wideouts, does a great job of adjusting. Maxson coming into this game, 8 catches for 116 yards, and the 6'2", 175-pound senior with a big catch there.
Well, tight coverage there. Maxson does a nice job of getting free. Nathan Poole delivers the ball. Really good coverage there. But the ball's thrown on time, and that's the impressive thing. Maxson makes a catch, turn into his backside, and gains some extra yardage.
18 yards on the catch, and it is 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Poole will keep, finds an opening inside the 15, down to around the 8-yard line, and gets the helmet in the midsection, courtesy of Rocky Van Horn, who's made a couple of solid hits already in this contest.
Yes, he
for
has.
Davidson.
And he's made a couple touchdown-saving tackles like that one.
Rocky's a guy that has a love for physics and is part of the National Honor Society here at Hilliard Davidson High School as well. I'm checking out Shriver again, and he is still running, Greg. Can he bounce back from a leg injury like that?
Oh, I think so. I mean, it's you know, it's last game of the year potentially, and playoffs are on the line. You know, you got to try to suck it up, but obviously, you know, you don't want to put yourself in a position to be injured further, but your team's relying on you.
2nd down and 2. They keep it inside with 7:20 left to go. Grove City trying to grind it out now with Burke and company, see if they can get that 1st and goal and milk a little clock and get another touchdown and go up by 2 converted scores.
Well, I'm pretty impressed so far with Nathan Poole. You know, we've heard a lot of great things about Nathan coming in, throwing 14 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. They do a nice job of holding on to the football, and you know, so far tonight he's been a solid leader. When he's had a chance to throw the football, he's been effective, finding the right receiver, executing, knowing the blitz is going to come, getting rid of the ball, and giving his receivers and backs a chance to do something with it.
And he's cool too. He's a cool customer for just being a junior. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. The backs are split. Poole Looking to throw. Got a man deep in the back of the end zone, and the pass overthrown on the back line, looking for Amorine.
Boy, I think he had Joe there for an instant, and a little bit overthrown, but Nathan had some pressure and he got rid of it. And you know, the good news is it's 2nd and 9, and the bad news is he threw it in incompletion, but that's okay.
And that's a pretty safe pass too, isn't it, Greg?
Right.
Because if you throw it high, you've got a guy that's 6'4", either he catches it or it goes incomplete.
Absolutely, and a coach will tell you that every time, and especially when you got, receivers can get lost in the back of the end zone, just like Joe did there, and Nathan picked him out, but with pressure in his face, couldn't quite deliver the ball on the money.
Amorine to the top, Reiner on the wing to the bottom, 2nd and goal from the 7-yard line. Reiner in motion. Poole wants to throw again. Looking for Reiner. Loses the handle at the 3-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and goal with 6:39 left in the half.
Well, Dan, I take back all those good things I said about you earlier. Ball's on the money. You got to make that catch.
Spoken like a true quarterback. Take a look.
Well, Dan's just kind of running a flat route out in the flat, and the ball's on the money. And, he's really trying to find out where he is in relation to the sideline, and you got to make the catch first before you can do that.
Yeah, I don't think that's a touchdown play. It maybe picks up 3 or 4 yards, but that could be crucial. As this time, Welsh wide to the bottom, Amorine to the top, one back in the backfield behind. Poole on a 3rd and goal.
Looking at blitz, too.
Poole looking in the corner, adjusting to the ball as Amorine goes up for it, can't come down with it. He wants a flag, he doesn't get it. What you get is a 4th down and goal from the 7-yard line if you're Grove City.
Randy, he's fortunate the flag didn't fly, because I think it would have been on him. He had a little push off, which good receivers can do that. He knew he had a height advantage. As we see here, he's going to push Rocky. Well, it's hard to see, but had a chance to make the play. And a nice throw, really, by Nathan Poole, but can't quite bring it down.
Field goal time, and I don't have Jordan with a field goal on the season. I've got him 0 for 2 from 20 to 29 yards, and this one would be about 23.
This one would be huge to give him a 10-point advantage.
The snap, the kick is up, plenty of leg, and hey,
never a doubt.
He's 1 for 3.
Never a doubt.
With 6:31 left to go in the first half, and the Hounds barking and biting and up by 10 points.
Never a doubt. I was impressed with that one. Boy, if there's a time when you need one, that was it right there. Again, 2 turnovers on the road. They cashed in on one. Now they're up 10-0, and with their offense, I think Brian Cross has got to feel pretty good about the prospects of this football game.
And Jordan, a young man, is 5'7", 178, and will be back next season, but a junior. So it's now 10-0. If you're Hilliard Davidson, offensively, you've been able to move the ball, but some question marks. You have not been able to finish. You got to wonder about the status right now of the leg of your quarterback, Brad Shriver.
Well, I think really that their fortunes tonight are going to rest on whether or not he comes back, and if he comes back, how effective he can be. He's going to have to throw the football and hang in there to get him back in this football game.
That drive, 14 plays, 65 yards, took 5:24 off the clock. Jordan, a 23-yard field goal, and we stand right now at 10-zip in favor of the visitors. And a kicking situation now for Grove City.
Well, Brad's got his helmet. He's running down the sideline, so it looks like he's going to give it a go.
Maxson ready to kick it off. Mike, with his average kickoff going down to about the 10-yard line. Trifecta deep for the Wildcats.
Nice kick.
Stewart from the 6.5-yard line. Darrell across the 20, the 25, fighting up to around the 29. Maybe gets up to the 30-yard line with 6:26 left to go here in the first half.
Pretty impressed with Darrell Stewart catching these kickoffs, because he's not afraid to catch them with his hands. You see most guys try to catch it in their body, but Darrell just puts his hands up there and catches it, and off he goes.
I'll tell you what, the kickoff before last, I think he caught that with about 4 fingers, 2 on each hand, and just twirled his way upfield for about a 28-yard return. This one gets up to just about the 30-yard line. Let's see what they do offensively, and indeed it is Shriver in at quarterback.
Well, I can tell you from experience, on a night like tonight, if you catch the ball and the laces catch your fingers, look out.
Minix in motion. They keep it on the ground. Hemmer up across the 30 or around the 35-yard line. A little pushing and shoving match going on right now between Mastrogiannakis and Brake. And speaking of Brake, the officials break that up, and we'll see a gain of nearly 5 on the play with nearly 6 minutes left to go here in the first half. That's a great matchup, too, between Mastrogiannakis, the quarterback, a 3-year starter, and Mike Brake, good size, 6'5", 220, and a senior as the wideout. And our thanks to Schottenstein for being one of our proud sponsors of Sport TV. They are great folks. Glad to have them aboard. Minix in motion. You'll see the Schottenstein name on the scoreboard quite often here on Sport TV. Hemmer again on the carry and to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Great penetration. One of the first guys coming through there was Clinton Ford.
Nice job getting to the football and making the tackle one-on-one against Heminger.
Clinton Ford runs a 4.840.
See Shriver off tackle, makes the handoff, and really it looks like Coach Sines is trying to be a little bit conservative, getting Brad back in the football game without throwing the football, but it's 3rd and long, and he's going to have to put it up here.
3rd down and 6. 5:10 left to go. The quick slant to break, scoops it back up. They're going to call it an incomplete pass. They're going to say he never had control. Well, thanks to the magic of videotape, we'll probably get a chance to take a second look.
Boy, it certainly looked like a completion there. Throws a slant, throws it low. Nice catch.
Oops.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's hard to tell if he took a step or two, but it looked like he had control of the football.
So Grove City perhaps with a break, and the Wildcats forced to punt, you would think, with 5:05 left to go in the first half. The offense stalls again. And Stewart standing back at his own 20-yard line.
Nice kick.
Nice driving kick this time from Darrell. Kaczynski retreats to his 23. Trying to come up to the 25-yard line. Cannot turn the corner. Brought down right there around the 22. Guess who made the hit again? Tooting his own horn is Rocky Van Horn.
Rocky's reminded me a little bit of one Antoine Winfield for the Buckeyes. You get those guys in a one-on-one situation in the open field, and they're going to make the tackle every time.
41 yards on the punt.
Look at the replay here again on the slant play. Did he catch it? Did he not?
1,
2. Boy, I tell you what, you could go either way on that call.
Well, Election Day was Tuesday. It's too late to vote.
You like that, huh?
Yeah.
That read defense pretty well.
1st and 10 from the 22. Grove City keeping it on the ground, keeping it inside, and gaining about 3 on the play. Looks to be Burke on the carry.
Well, they've got a chance with 4.5 minutes left to go to possibly add to this lead, and I think if they were to go in at halftime any more up than 10-0, they'd be in a pretty good situation. On the flip side, Davidson's got to find a way defensively here to come up with a stop or find a way to get a turnover and get your team back in this football game.
2nd down and 7. A lone back, a tailback about 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It is Reiner. He gets a running start, but it doesn't matter. He's brought down in the backfield. Making the hit on the play for the Wildcats, number 88, Jason Coniglio, the defensive end, who's done a great job this season for Hilliard Davidson. So a loss on the play, back to just past the 23-yard line, setting up a 3rd down and long situation. We'll call it 8. You see time remaining first half, and Grove City up by a touchdown and a field goal.
Now you got an interesting call. Do you run it? Do you run it, punt it, or do you try to take a chance here? Looks like they're going to get man coverage. Davidson's coming after him.
Poole looking for the tight end. Big play! And a big tackle. It looked like Matt Hines could have been off to the races, but he's brought down as he crosses the 45-yard line with 3:35 left to go. A huge play. You got Amorine and Welsh on this side of the field, but they go the other way to the tight end.
Well, I'll tell you, great call by Brian Crosser. And you know what you said earlier, they were running the football effectively. We were waiting for them to come up with the play-action pass, and what a better time. Third and 10, they hit it. And Hines breaks free, and now they get a chance to maybe go down and score.
McKinney with a shoestring tackle at the 45-yard line.
Poole maybe sensing blitz and changing the play. Yep, he's going to throw a quick hitch here.
Dumps it to Maxson, gets down to the 46-yard line. You know, the thing that I like about Grove City, and I saw this earlier this season, is they don't have the biggest guys. Maybe they don't have the fastest guys. They don't have the backs like they had with Lou Willard, Derek Combs, but man, they are well coached and can they execute.
They really, and Nathan Poole does a nice job there. He senses the blitz, he changes the play, gets the ball out to one of his excellent receivers, and now you're close to a first down. You got 2nd and 1, and he may be doing the same thing here.
Although you can play with it now. Poole looking, and he does it. Welsh has got it at the 40, down to the 39. A situation there where you can try something because you still have 3rd down and you only needed a yard to go, and they pick up the first down, and now they're inside the 40. 2:59 left to go. The clock will stop when they move the chains, and Grove City was still 2 timeouts left in the first half.
They've got plenty of time on the clock here, and Nathan Poole's doing a nice job moving his team down the field, anticipating blitzes. He knows
knows Davidson's got to come after him, and let's see how he operates from here.
Maxson, the wide out to the top, 2 backs behind Nathan Poole on a 1st and 10. And he wants more. Looking downfield, looking long. He's got a man. It's Amorine, and he goes full bore for the football, and he comes up with it at the 10-yard line. That is the kind of catch we saw from Amorine in the game against Worthington Kilbourne. What a play.
Well, I almost spoke too soon there. I thought that Nathan overthrew him, but Joe did a nice job of running to the football and laying out and extending and making a great catch. But
29
again,
yards.
Another great call offensively. You got to give the offensive coaches a lot of credit here for Grove City for putting together a heck of a drive.
And Amorine almost saying, oh my goodness, I've got to put it into high gear, and he does. Look at the extension. Wow. Inside the 11-yard line, 1st and 10. Poole looking in the corner of the end zone for his tight end. Does he pull it away? Yes, he does. Coming up with the ball is Hines. Hines looking like Lumpkin from a couple weeks ago for the Buckeyes. Comes up with a touchdown, and now it's 16-0 with 2:19 left in the first half.
Well, what a great play, though, rolling out. Nathan Poole, he's got Hines open early, and he waits and allows Hines to run behind the defenders. He throws it up top where really Hines can make the play. Not quite high enough, though, but I'll tell you what, I think Matt got away with one there with a little push, but he came down with the football, and it's a touchdown.
Jordan with the extra point. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Yeah, I wouldn't say that was up top. That was kind of up middle.
It was up middle. That was, for all the throws that Nathan's made tonight, that one was a little bit questionable, but it's a touchdown, and when you got receivers that you rely on that can catch the football, you know, you're going to make those plays. And he's got plenty of time to throw. We see him throw it up top. And it's really a jump ball, and Matt just comes down with it.
Over the top of McKinney for the touchdown.
Pretty impressive. And really that whole drive was Nathan Poole executing the offense. You know, he knew that Hilliard Davidson was going to come after him. They're down 10-0 going into that drive, and you know, he reads the blitzes, checks out of 2 plays, gets him in a real simple hitch, executes the hitch, allows his receivers to move the ball down the field. And you got a couple great play calls by Brian Cross on the play action, and you know, now you're in the end zone, and now you've taken a commanding lead 17-0.
And the thing is, too, he's just a junior, but he plays like he's got the experience of a Steve DeBerg, with a lot more talent, though, than the 44-year-old signal caller still in the NFL. 2:19 left to go that drive. 7 plays, 78 yards. Took only 2:37 off the clock. Hines getting the touchdown pass from Poole from 10 yards out. Jordan with the PAT. Everything's been converted, so now it's 17-0 for the Hounds.
Well, and really Hines, you know, he put the exclamation point in that drive, but he caught the big pass, the 3rd and 10 early in the series when, you know, I thought that they might run the football and punt and just be happy to go in 10-0, but not the case. They run a little play action, you know, fake a sweep to one side, throw back to the tight end on the other, and then they were in business at the 50-yard line, and Nathan Poole directed them the rest of the way.
If you're Davidson, you've got to come up with something here if you can in the last couple of minutes of the first half.
Well,
Stewart,
the guy to do it.
Scoops it up from the 10. Darrell to the 20, the 25, up across the 30, and hurdles to the 31-yard line. That's where the Wildcats will start, 1st and 69 with 2:13 left to go in the first half.
Well, you got a lot of time left still in the first half, and once again, Brad Shriver is going to have to come up with a way here to get his football team back in this football game. It's not too late. 17-7 or 17-3 is a lot better than 17-0 at halftime.
And they still have 2 timeouts remaining in this last 2:13. Backs from an eye. Minix in motion. He has been a non-factor throughout most of the first half. Shriver
try to hit you
go for break. He's got the size, but this time he's also got the double coverage, and the pass a little too strong, goes incomplete.
Well, you know, that's a play that you know, you got to be effective throwing the hitch a lot early in the game to come back to that play and try to go up top, and you know, they're really trying to take a chance there and come up with a big play. Grove City doing a nice job defensively and respecting that.
Tim Skipper checks in now with the play from John Signs and Company. Skipper, one of the wideouts, who's got 3 catches, good for 43 yards. 2 of those catches were in game number 1 for 28 yards against Piqua, one of my favorite teams to say.
Well, Brad Shriver's got to get Mark Minix and Mike Brake involved in this football game from a receiver standpoint.
Shriver rolling left, looking back to his right, lost the football again. It's free, but the Wildcats fall on it back at the 20-yard line.
Well, Brad Shriver's having a difficult time tonight holding on to the football in the pocket, and that's the 3rd time he's put it on the ground.
Coming up with the football here is Tex Bradford, and I'll tell you why. That's one thing that Grove City is good in. I told you about the Worthington Kilbourne game. They forced 6 turnovers from the Wolves And Grove City is better than any other team I've seen, Greg, at reaching in and stripping that football. If you don't cover it with all 3 pressure points, they will knock it away from you.
Well, I've always been a big advocate of fundamentally a quarterback's got to have both hands on the football at all times. And if not, you got to tuck it in there. And, you know, as you said, they're doing a nice job stripping it for Brad tonight.
Minix and Skipper wide to the bottom of the formation. 1:23 left. And the handoff goes to Stewart.
Got some room.
Across the 30, across the 35, across the 40. He's got the first down across the 45, and they're going to mark him out of bounds just before the 45 with 1:15 left to go. And indeed, he does have enough for a Wildcat first down.
I was about to say they needed a miracle to get that first down with 3rd and about 20 or so. But again, a nice play call there. A fake pass and a quick draw to Darryl Stewart. And, you know, caught the Grove City defense sleeping a little bit, playing soft. And now you got a first down and a chance. You know, with a minute 16 left to go and 2 timeouts, you want to try to get some points on the board.
Well, Mr. Manilow, it was a miracle, a true blue spectacle miracle come true. 25 yards on the game. Gary Manilow. First and 10 from the 44.
You're starting to date yourself now, really.
Somebody has to date me. Minix in motion. Looking on the slant for break. Collision. Lost the ball. Man, that is one where you know if you come up with the ball, you might have to pay the price, and he did that time. Pass is incomplete.
Well, on a slant play, you got to give your receivers a chance to catch the football without having their heads decapitated, and the ball's a little bit high. Not too bad, though, and, you know, had a chance to catch that football. You got to make that catch.
Reggie Rucker had the best line about that catch. When I go across the middle, the last thought in my mind is, I want to live. Of course, he told me that when we had supper last night. 1:11 left to go in the half. Second down. Shriver rolling. Pressure's on. Trying to buy some time. He's got break at the 42-yard line down to the 40. And remember, the clock will stop when they move the chains. With 1:04 left to go, they've got a Wildcat first down.
Plenty of time.
And that's the thing, Greg. They have shown the propensity at times in the first half to move the football. It's been the turnover that has killed things for them.
Right, and that's really, I think, been their case all year. They've been able to move the football great between the 20s, but got to find a way to cash in. And here we are again. They're on the 40. They're moving. And, you know, again, Brad Shriver's, he's gaining some confidence. He's stepping up in the pocket there, and he's got to keep it going.
3 wideouts to the bottom of the formation. He looks that way. The pass incomplete inside the 30-yard line.
All right.
Dive on the play by Break stops the clock with 47.3 left, and they still have 2 timeouts left in the first half as well.
That's all right. That's a good play. When you're under 2 minutes or under a minute to go, an incompletion is not going to kill you. You've got 4. You're really in 4-down territory here, and you know, just about executed that one, but that's okay.
Reminder, Greg, coming up at halftime, we'll hear from each one of the high school marching bands, Grove City and Hilliard Davidson. In between, Greg and I will look at the stats, and hopefully we'll get an updated score from Kaufman and Westerville South as well. On 2nd and 10 from the 40, Shriver looking long downfield. He's looking for Minix, and he caught the football, but I think he might have been out of bounds.
They're going to give it to him.
They're going to give it to him
at
the 5-yard line. Wow. I thought he got his hand pulled as well, too, but he has the ball at the 5-yard line. A gain of 35 with 40.5 left in the first half. First and goal for Hilliard Davidson.
Well, as you said earlier in the drive, you know, he's a guy that's he's made some big plays this year, and obviously he makes a great play here. A great pass by Brad Shriver, and Minix, it looks like he might have been interfered with, but he's going to come down with the football, and now you got first and goal on the 5 with a chance to get back in this football game.
What a catch, what a play. First and goal for the 5. Shriver's looking, he's got a man! It is Minix off his hands at the 1-yard line, 27.8 on the clock.
Well, nice job by Brad Shriver. That's a tough throw for the quarterback, rolling to your left and delivering the football, and he throws the ball on time, and Mark got his head around, but boy, I tell you, when it gets cold like this and the ball's coming at you quick like that, you got to get your head around, get your hands up, and almost pull that one off.
Mark Minix with monstrous numbers again. 36 catches for nearly 600 yards, averages 16.6 yards every time he catches the football. Second down and goal from just past the 5.
But again, incompletions don't hurt you here. You got plenty of plays. 3 more plays to cash in. They're going to go right back to it.
Same play, and overthrows him, but there's a flag this time at the 1-yard line.
I think this one's going to be defensive holding. Let's wait for the call.
The other thing is, Greg, you could even run the ball on the delay because you still have 2 timeouts left as well.
Exactly right, and that's a good play right here.
We're waiting for Chuck Curley and company to decide on the penalty.
We're going to replay again here.
It is pass interference on the offense.
Minix probably pushed off a little bit there. Oh, it's the dreaded pick play. Yep. Is what it is. I hate to use that word, but that's exactly what it is.
You can pick your nose, but you can't pick the defender.
That's right. But, you know, again,
when you're down inside the 10-yard line with a really left, well, this is going to be a lethal penalty. It's going to take him out to the 20.
And it's loss of down, too. It's a 15-yard penalty and loss of down, so mark it out to the 20-yard line. Now, this changes things big time because, first of all, Hilliard Davidson is not a field goal kicking team normally, and now you need 20 yards with 24.7, and it's third down.
But as much as it changes it, it really doesn't, because you got to score a touchdown. You're in 2-down territory here, so
you go for 10 and you go for 20 here.
You got to get it. Brad Shriver's got to find somebody over the middle of the field and let him find a way to get in the end zone.
On third down, rolls to the short side, looks across the middle for Brake. Now Brake stopped momentarily, and
there was some contact
continued
back there too.
Yep. Into the end zone, so now 19.8 on the clock, and it's fourth down from the 20.
Troy Snyder had a little contact there, but no call.
I wonder if you burn the timeout here and think about this.
I think you do.
Because it's taken them a long time to get this play in. If they don't get it off shortly, they might be looking at a 25-yard situation.
I think they know what they want to do, and it's pretty obvious what they need to do, so see if they can execute.
19.8 on the clock. Fourth down and goal from the 20. Shriver looking, got Minix fighting for it. There's contact, and the pass falls incomplete. Had a chance for the ball. And Grove City will get it back with 16.2, and I don't expect them to do anything more than get religious and kneel down and call it a half.
And I like that play call there. You know, you got 20 yards, you got to go to your go-to guy, and we know that's Mark Minix, and Brad does a nice job. Nice spiral on the ball, and the ball's on the money, and you got to trust your best receiver to make that play.
And great coverage by the defensive back as well. Mastrogiannakis all over him. And again, they go with the offensive safety, so to speak, about 8 yards off the line of scrimmage, and Poole will kneel down, and unless Davidson wants to burn a timeout, you can call it a half here. The Hilliard Davidson Athletic Complex. 24 minutes in the books. 2 touchdowns and a field goal for the visitors, and at the half, Grove City on top of Hilliard Davidson by a count of 17-0. Back with more here on Sport TV right after this. Stay tuned.
Say hello to Insight Communications, the new standard in cable service brought to you by the people you know. Hi, I'm Greg Graff, General Manager. Our name has changed, but our dedication to serving your family hasn't. As Insight Communications, we will be your source for all the latest technologies while remaining your best entertainment value in Central Ohio. Promises made, promises kept. You've got our word on it. Insight Communications, we're your new cable company.
You chose to try to beat the train. This is the next 60 seconds of your life.
Please slow down, y'all. Stop! Just stop! No! We can't beat that train! All right, we got it. Stop! We can wait for the bus! Stop! No!
Ohio's roads can be highways or dieways. The choice is yours.
Welcome back at halftime. Grove City on top of Hilliard Davidson by a count of 17-0, and we're being entertained now by the Grove City High School Marching Band under George Edge in his 12th year. The Grove City High School Marching Band under George Edge in his 12th year, 263 in the band. The assistant band directors Ken Belt and Mark Stevens. The flag corps advisor is Laura Sturm. Field commanders Kate Murphy, Jenny Merriman, and Sarah Rogers. They feature the music of Leonard Bernstein. We'll go over their songs and more of their events in just a moment because it is a very large and lengthy list. We want to get to the halftime stats before we see the Hilliard Davidson High School Marching Band is at the break. It is Grove City on top by a count of 17-0. Rejoining me now is Greg Fry, and it's time to take a look at those numbers from the first 24 minutes of action. And Greg, what do you see there?
Well, I think, you know, what you're going to look at, really, we talked about Grove City's balance coming into the football game, and really you see rush yards and pass yards, 110 to 118, 228 total. You know, really they've done a nice job moving the ball on the ground and through the air, and you got to be pretty impressed with that. You look at Hilliard Davidson on the other hand, and 67, they're balanced, 67 yards rushing, 66 passing, but again, they've not been able to put the ball in the end zone, and the turnover ratio is really the difference in this football game. They've coughed it up 2 times, and really Brad Shriver's put the ball on the ground 3 times, and 2 of those have been recovered by Grove City, and you know, they take advantage of Davidson mistakes, but I think the balanced attack and really, you know, the play at quarterback by Nathan Poole has been the difference in this football game. 9 out of 13 passing, and very effective. He knows when the blitzes are coming. He's picking them up and he's delivering the ball to his receivers, and I think that's really the difference in the football game.
And about to be entertained now by the Hilliard Davidson High School Marching Band under David Hanshu in his 4th year, 131 in all on the field. The assistant band directors are Angela Atkins and James Galt, who's recuperating in University Medical Center. And James, everyone wants to wish you the very best and get well soon. Field commanders are Lindsay Alexander, Sayaka Sakaguchi, and Melissa Brockmeyer. This is their senior show. Features the Hilliard Davidson fight song, Birdland. We'll have an intro of the band's seniors and their parents, and then the song Long Train Running. Events, well, the band won the Grand Championship Award at the Westland and Bloom Carroll High School Festivals. If you'd like to help the band with their myriad of fundraisers, you can call 771-2274. That's 771-2274. Here now, the Hilliard Davidson High School Marching Band. And going back now to the Grove City High School Marching Band, their songs were Overture to Candide, featuring Richard Spires on horn, Ryan Sheska on baritone, and Mindy Lukemeyer on trumpet. Make Our Garden Grow, with a solo by Mindy Lukemeyer on trumpet and Richard Spires on horn. Mambo, featuring the percussion section. Cha-Cha, solos by Mindy Lukemeyer and Dan Boyle on trumpet, Jess Parkinson on horn, and Brett Underwood on trombone. And tonight, featuring the talents of Derek Souls, Dan Boyle, and Mindy Lukemeyer. Events coming up for the Grove City High School Marching Band. Well, I'll tell you this, the band was grand champion at the Laughlin Band Festival out of 21 bands. They were also the grand champion of the Pickerington Band Festival out of 20, the grand champ of the Newark Band Festival out of 17, and out of 16 at Tri-Valley. They also received straight superior ratings at the State Marching Band Contest. The Fall Band Bazaars coming up on Saturday, November the 14th and Sunday the 15th at the high school. Nearly 300 tables of arts and crafts with proceeds going to help the band. Admission is $1, and the Band Appreciation Concert is Sunday, November the 8th at the high school at 3 p.m. Admission is without charge. We're at halftime. Grove City on top of Hilliard Davidson 17-0. Back with the second half of this game on Central Ohio Sport Television right after this. Stay tuned.
He defies gravity with one leap. She smashes the ball, and with it, the competition. They strive for speed, grace, and power, all on Time Warner Communications, with comprehensive coverage of your favorite sports 24 hours a day. When you're ready to see a ball explode, four wheels fly, and the competition crumble, watch Time Warner Communications. Imagine what's next.
He's a hard-working father of three. She's head of the PTA and a caring mother. He's donated his time to the youth of his community. So why do otherwise honest people see nothing wrong with stealing cable television? If you're using a so-called black box to get pay channels without paying, you're committing a crime, punishable by a fine and jail time. Honestly, is it worth it?
Cable theft. It's a crime the way some people watch television.
Welcome back. We get ready for the start of the second half. Grove City on top of Hilliard Davidson by a count of 17-0. Randy Reinhardt alongside the one and only, the legendary Greg Fry. As we get ready for the start of the second half, first of all, Greg, I'm going to put you in the Hilliard Davidson locker room. You're John Sines. What do you tell your squad?
Well, you got to find a way to get back in this football game, and I think you got to put it on your offense and your defense. Brad Shriver's got to do a better job of holding on to the football. He's got to get the ball to Mark Minix and Mike Brake. Give those guys a chance to put the ball in the end zone, throwing the football, and you hope that you can run the football more effectively with Darryl Stewart. And you got to look for a break, and if you get that break, you got to capitalize. You're at home, and the opportunity might come, but it might come early.
And if you're Brian Cross, your team is 1/2 away from winning this game and perhaps being number one in computer points in Division I, Region 2.
Well, I think you got to like to be in the position that Brian Cross is, because he knows he can run the football. He knows he's got a quarterback right now. It's very confident, doing a great job executing his offense and throwing the football and running the football and delivering it to a number of receivers and running backs. And I think he's in a pretty good position. And at the same time, his defense is playing aggressively. And as you said, they've been very effective at stripping the football from Brad Shriver, in the pocket and when he's trying to get on the corner. And if they keep that up, they're going to be in pretty good position here in about 2 quarters.
Passing in the first half, Poole 9 of 13, 118 yards and a touchdown. And you look at this balance. Get this: Amorine 2 catches, 39 yards. Hines 2 catches, 32 yards. Maxson 2 catches, 26 yards. Rushing in the first half for Grove City, Amorine 3 carries, 60 yards. Burke 7 for 26 and a touchdown. And Stewart, the leading carrier, in fact, really the only carrier of note for Hilliard Davidson, 7 carries for 47 yards.
Well, I think that, again, that explains, the diversity that Grove City has on offense, and I think that's why they've been so effective. And, really, again, Davidson's got to find a way. Somebody's got to step up in this football game, whether it be Stewart or Shriver or the receivers, Minix and Brake, to, find a way to get him back in this football game.
Mike Maxson has it teed up at the 40, and perhaps Davidson could use a long kickoff return, too. They've used that earlier this season to their benefit, but to the defense of Grove City, Greg, they just don't seem to give up the big play this season.
No, they really don't. They've been very solid on both sides of the football tonight, and again, Davidson's looking for a big play, whether it be special teams or offense, defense, but they need one to get back in this football game.
Coming back from the 12, across the 25, across the 30. And trying to reverse his field and getting up across the 35 to the 39-yard line on the return. That is Bo Reese. There's also a flag down on the play with 11:50 left to go in quarter number 3, and we'll sort out this situation.
Nice job by Drew Bryce there, really, by containing the return and making it go back to the inside to allow his other defenders to come and make the play.
Penalty will go on the Wildcats to start the second half, and we'll wait for Chuck Curley and company to give us the signal. We'll have a clip.
Not the way you want to start your second half when you're trailing 17-0, but again, offensively, it's not going to matter how far they've got to drive the football. They've got to find a way to put a solid drive together and come away with 7 points.
And another flag. That was perhaps a comment on sportsmanlike conduct against Davidson. I saw Chuck Curley turn his head and flip the flag, and we will add on that penalty 10 seconds into the second half, because there was something he didn't like, and he reacted immediately to it and threw another flag. So the penalty goes from the 39 to the 24. This, in theory, should go half the distance from the 24 down to the 12.
Wow. Well, not the way, as I was going to say, not the way to start the second half with 1 penalty, but let alone 2. Now you got to take your offense 88 yards to score a touchdown and get back in the football game instead of maybe 65.
Now they're moving the chains right now. I'm not sure that's what they want to do along the far side of the field. Personal foul. Do they have him set? Okay, now they have him set. We're ready to go.
That was a dead ball foul the way it looks, so it's going to be 1st and 10.
Yeah, they were ready to start that play, though, and the chains were still in motion.
Huh.
A pop-up on the snap and a pop-up on the pass. It's complete to break across the 18 to perhaps the 19-yard line. That was kind of a weird situation. Shriver caught the ball from the snap and then decided to scoop and throw and hit break across the middle.
You're going to see the snap kind of goes up a little bit. He does a nice job keeping his composure, gets the ball and delivers it. Very tough to do, and Break does a nice job catching it and gaining some yards. Second and 2.
8 on the play. In fact, that is an 8-yard gain from the 20-yard line. They need a deuce on second down. Shriver thinking air, or at least thinking rolling, and he's going to dump it. And the pass is complete. It goes out to number 9 on the play. That is Tim Skipper. Skipper out to the 38-yard line, and he's got enough for a Wildcat first down.
You know, I've been in enough situations where we trailed football games, and, you know, sometimes things really happen against you that you just can't believe. And, you know, evidenced by those 2 penalties to start the second half as we see the replay here. But really, you got to keep believing you can get back in this football game, and I think Brad Shriver now with a couple completions can take his team down the field.
And the ball is right now where they would have gotten it to start the series on the kickoff return at the 39-yard line. That's Break in motion. Shriver looking to throw again, looking long, looking for Minix, and it's picked off by Mastrogiannakis. He's got it at the 33-yard line. Make it the 32.
Well, Brad Shriver had a chance to go up top there to Minix. We saw the hitch and go, and really the ball's underthrown and to the inside, and Mastrogiannakis does a nice job of making the play.
For John, this is his 3rd pick on the season, good for 23 yards.
Well, for a quarterback, when you throw a fade route like that, in essence, that's what this is. When you fake the hitch and go up top, you got to throw it to the outside, give your receiver a chance to make the play, and if he doesn't make the play, it's incomplete.
And officially it is indeed the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 from there. We had motion in the line. We will sort this out 56 seconds into the second half. So for Hilliard Davidson, after overcoming the 2 obstacles, they got back to the original line of scrimmage and then gained some more yardage. We have encroachment on the defense. Now they commit another miscue, and they give Grove City a 1st and 5. Take a look.
Look at this again.
Yep.
You got a little bit of movement.
And a little bit is all it takes.
That's all it takes. And, you know, when you got a quarterback that's confident right now and knows what he's doing, he's drawing the guys off the line of scrimmage. He's really in control of this football game, and you got to give Nathan Poole a lot of credit. Now he's got 1st and 5 instead of 1st and 10.
Davidson with 3 turnovers, but they put it on the turf one additional time as well, too. But got it back. 1st and 5. Poole keeps it on the ground. Nothing there for the Greyhounds.
Looks like Steve Caswell, I think, on the tackle there for Hilliard Davidson.
And Reiner on the carry. You can tell it's Reiner because
you
he
can't
hides
see him
behind everybody. Almost hides behind the football at times. But the thing is, when you look at Reiner, Dan is just the gutsiest guy you'll ever want to meet. He's just a junior. He's going to come back and bulk up to probably about 150.
Well, if he if he gets past the line of scrimmage, they look out because he's got some speed.
He can move.
Poole might be sensing blitz again.
Sensing and seeing it and dumping it off, and it goes to Welsh, and the pass is complete.
Nice job.
To the 42-yard line. And Davidson a little upset. They wanted their secondary people to come up on that play because they could smell it.
Well, part of the game plan, again, for Nathan Poole, talking to Brian Cross before the game, if he senses blitz, he can get out of the play if he wants, and he can go to that 3-step drop, and he's done that a number of times tonight. And you know, you can see Davidson knows it's coming, but it's hard to stop when you take a 3-step drop and you deliver it on time.
So it's 3rd down and less than 1. Just over 2 minutes into the second half, and that junior signal caller has done the job for the Greyhounds. The handoff inside, and wow, they did not get it. Stood up at the line of scrimmage. The first guy in there I saw for the Wildcats was number 55, Aaron Besson.
Along with a host of other defenders there. You know, we've seen this play a lot out of the Triple I, and not to happen this time.
Burke sandwiched right at the 41.5-yard line, so it'll be 4th down, and they lose 1.5 yards on the play. It's nearly 2 with 9:22 left to go here in the 3rd quarter, and a punting situation for Drew Price. In the 3rd quarter, if you're wondering, Grove City has scored 35 points and given up but 7. There's a good kick. Really good kick. Minix watches it go inside the 10, inside the 5, and they get the touchback, whether they want it or not.
Very, very fortunate.
58 yards on that punt, and so Hilliard Davidson with the mistake can dodge a bullet, but they have to start over again 80 yards away. And this is a team that you touched on earlier is a big play offense throughout most of the season. They're going to need to find something here in the third quarter.
Well, they really do. And again, on the last drive, Brad Shriver completed a couple passes, and he's got some confidence going here, but they got to find a way to connect. And he threw the interception on the last play, which really killed the drive, but he's got to find a way to get the ball to Mark Minix or Mike Brake.
1st and 10 from the 20. On the carry, out across the 24, near the 25-yard line. That is number 24, Eric Heminger. Touched on his prowess, and another guy that's undersized like Reiner, but just does the job and motors outside and gets a nice gain on 1st down.
Well, he's got some big shoes to fill when he's replacing Darrell Stewart at tailback, but he's not shy to stick his nose in there.
His dad earned 15 letters in high school. That is hard to do.
That's pretty tough.
I didn't know 15 letters in high school. And they hand it off to Heminger.
Back to him.
Yep. That was a nice play because Shriver faked the pass and then decided to hand it off. And Eric gets a nice gain to the 35-yard line, picks up 11 on the play, and it's good enough for a Wildcat 1st down.
Look at the replay here. Brad Shriver's going to fake the pass and hand off to Eric Heminger, and off he goes.
Let's go. So 1st and 10 from the 35. Minix and Brake wide of the top. It's the way you want to look if you're Shriver with those two big guns to the top of the formation. And he's looking that way, and he's dumping underneath, and the pass is complete to Minix, and he's out across the 44-yard line.
Well, we're starting to hear his name more and more and more, Mark Minix, and he's going to have to catch a lot of balls in the second half. But most importantly, he's going to have to find a way to get one in the end zone. Another rollout pass here, and Minix does a nice job getting his shoulders around, catching the ball, and getting upfield.
And here's a guy, too, that didn't practice this week because of a hip injury. And there's a guy, the quarterback, and Brad Shriver, the sergeant, so to speak, who's been nursing a leg injury that he suffered in the 1st quarter of this contest.
Well, he's sucking it up, and he's doing a nice job in the second half so far.
2nd and a long one. 7.5 left to go 3rd quarter. They keep it on the ground, nothing fancy. You can get it up across the 45 to the 48-yard line. On the carry, that is Jimmy Sharon.
Well, Randy, we've seen Davidson take a couple chances in the last series and the last series before the first half, trying with the hitch and go to look for that big play like we talked about. But they've got a lot of time left. They've got 7.5 minutes left. They can take their time and really try to go the length of the field here and get back. When you're down 10 points, it's a lot better than being down 17. And now you're 2 scores away instead of 3.
Spangler makes the hit from defensive end. 1st and 10 from the 48, and that's the irony if Hilliard Davidson could do that, because that's not the way they've scored most of the season. It's normally been the big play.
That's right.
Shriver will keep across midfield, the 45, the 40, and gets it all the way down to the 37-yard line before he's brought down on the play.
But I got to think, if you're John Sines and you get to the 4th quarter only trailing 17-7 after having committed 3 turnovers, you got to be pretty happy about your team's chances to, hang in this football game, maybe try to pull it out.
Drew Price, the strong safety, number 22, makes the hit for the Greyhounds.
And Shriver this time protects the football a little bit better with a big gain. He's limping a little bit, but he's sucking it up.
Minix, Skipper, and Brake to the top of the formation. Pressure on, the dump, it's complete to Minix across the 30, the 25, the 20, inside the 20, inside the 15-yard line before he's brought down by Mastro Giannakis, and it's 1st and 10 for Davidson with 6:36 left to go 3rd quarter.
Randy, momentum is such a huge thing in the game of football, and we see right here, it was another rollout pass by Shriver, delivers the ball on the money to Minix, he breaks a tackle, and off he goes. But now they got some momentum. But again, now they're in the red zone. We got to find a way to put it in the end zone.
What do you mean we? 1st and 10 from
I'm
the
thinking
15.
Like a quarterback.
You
again
are.
Here. I love this.
It's like you were a quarterback or something.
Here we
Dumped
go.
underneath. He's got the opening. It's Minix from 15 yards out. Takes it in. Found the corner for the touchdown. And with 6.5 left to go, it's a brand new ball game. It's 17-6.
Well, we've seen that play a couple times earlier in the last series of the first half when they were unable to put the ball in. That's really that kind of pick play. The outside receiver breaks down to the inside and tries to get in the way of one of the defenders, and there's Minix for the touchdown. But now the all-important extra point. Now you're down 11. You got to have the extra point to get it to 10.
7th touchdown on the season for Minix. Buck with the extra point. The snap, the kick is up. It is good, and it is now a 17-7 contest. And just like Greg alluded to, it's a little easier when you're down by 10 instead of 17, and Davidson has that situation as we look at the play one more time.
Replay here again. Brad Shriver rolling to his left and does a nice job getting his shoulders turned around, and Minix is really wide open. He's got a free range to the end zone.
Question, did Davidson exploit something in the Grove City defense that time around?
Well, I think they executed, they've got man coverage really, and Minix does a nice job getting open. And he outruns this guy to the end zone, and it's hard to see on the replay, but when you've got the outside receiver running kind of a slant pattern to really, that's your pick, and he might have done his job executing that pick on that play.
Minix, just a junior, he'll be back, and also a great point guard in basketball as well. That drive, 7 plays, 80 yards, took 2:34 off the clock. Minix from 15 yards out on that pass from Sergeant Shriver.
Now, of course, we need to be, if we ask John Sines what type of play that is and what the outside receiver is doing, he's just merely running his route, and if he happens to run into a defensive back, it's just pure coincidence.
Yeah, of course. I think I'm going to flag you now. So kickoff time for Hilliard Davidson, and the fans in the blue coming back to life here at the Hilliard Davidson Athletic Complex. Their team now only down by 10.
Well, that drive was set up by a big defensive stop after an interception. So we'll see if the defense or the special teams can make a big play.
Paffinger with the short kick returned by Mastrogiannakis up to around the 28-yard line. And let's see how pumped they are with 6:26 left to go. Grove City gets it back up by a count of 17-7. Mark it officially at the 29-yard line. Nathan Poole, a cool customer at quarterback, will lead him to the line of scrimmage.
Well, now Nathan on the flip side has got to get a couple first downs here, and he chew up some clock and try to run the football a little more.
1st and 10 from the 29.
Well, I'm curious to see what Brian Cross does on offense here.
It is Reiner on the carry across the 30. Gets across the 35.
There he is.
Horn just
Big
holds on and swings him down at around the 37-yard line. A couple of giants out there. Van Horn colliding with Reiner, but a good gain on first down for the Hounds.
Excellent job by Rocky Van Horn there. He's got a blocker ready to take him on, yet he makes the tackle against Reiner. Big play there, because really Davidson's got to come up with a stop here to get the ball back and try to close the gap now that they're down 10.
Gain of 8 on the play, 2nd and 2. You see time remaining, 3rd quarter. Fives are wild here, 17-7 the count. Got his Amorine in motion, and he's got the football, and he's out across the 40. He's got the first down up to around the 43-yard line. Interesting scenario. I mentioned that earlier in this contest when Grove City scored in the first quarter, it was only the 2nd time that Hilliard Davidson had given up a touchdown in the first quarter. When Grove City allowed the touchdown by Hilliard Davidson, it's only the 2nd time that anybody scored on the Hounds in the 3rd period this season. It was 35-7 Grove City in the 3rd quarter so far in the 3rd stanza.
2 solid defenses in this football game.
1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. And off inside. Look at this. This is Turman all the way down to the 39-yard line. Well, you're thinking Burke, you're thinking Amorine, you're thinking Reiner, and all of a sudden it goes to Justin Turman.
Well, Justin had that. We saw that play earlier in the game, and Justin coughed it up at the end of the play. This time he does not, though. He holds on to it, and another first down for Grove City.
Inside the 40, touching the 39-yard line.
You know what I was going to say earlier, I was curious to see what Brian Cross would do here. I don't think he's going to throw the football. I think he's going to run it out. He's got plenty of guys he can run it to and maybe mix in a play action, but keep the ball on the ground.
Gain of 18 on the prior play. The handoff this time. They keep it on the ground, and again it is Turman. A big hole up the middle. Gets down to around the 33, maybe the 32-yard line. Nothing but 33s out there. The ball near the 33, and the tackle made on the play by number 33. That is Mike Brake. Mark it officially inside the 32-yard line, though, so a gain of 8 on the play. 2nd down and 2 with 4:46 left to go, 3rd quarter.
And again, if you're Davidson, you got to do the bend but don't break theory here. Grove City's moving to football, but you got to find a way to keep them off the board.
It's one thing that John Sines hates, though, defensively. He was talking about that. So especially when you're down. I'll tell you what, Amorine almost turned up field early. And the handoff goes to Turman, and Turman gets to maybe the 31-yard line. In fact, that's what John Sines is complaining about. He thought that Amorine perhaps turned up field early. Kind of looked like Canadian football out there.
I don't think so.
So they'll pick up maybe 1 on the play. It's going to be 3rd down. Actually, they're going to put the ball right near the same line of scrimmage inside the 32.
Well, and Aaron Besson in on that play. We haven't mentioned his name a whole lot tonight, but he's an athletic guy in the defensive line, and boy, he stuffed that play. Now you got 3rd 2. You got a big play here for the Davidson defense.
Besson, a guy that gets double teamed just about on every play. Strong at defensive tackle for the Wildcats.
Here's your triple I.
At the bottom. Yep, triple I again for the Hounds. That was effective in the first half, and it looks like perhaps he's going to change it. Yep, he's looking one-on-one with Welsh in the corner, looking for the ball. He's got it inside the 5 and trying to find the corner. Does he go in? Yes, touchdown. Welsh takes it in for the score with 3:42 left to go, and if that's a checkout, that's outstanding by Nathan Poole.
Randy, I can't tell you, that is big time right there. You got a 3rd and 2. You got the playoffs on the line. You're up 17-7, and your quarterback senses blitz in a triple I like that. You got one-on-one with your receiver. He changes the play. He knows he's got enough time to change the play. He throws a fade. He throws a perfect ball, and now you really put the game out of reach, and unbelievable.
Jordan with the extra points after Welsh gets his 4th touchdown catch of the season from 31 yards out. Take another look.
Look at the replay here again. He changes the play, 3-step drop, puts the ball on the money, and Welsh is going to do a nice job of reacting to the football and finding a way to not only stay in bounds but get in the end zone.
Woo! I don't know.
Well, what I do know is that's impressive for a junior to be making the plays that Nathan Poole is making tonight is very impressive for a quarterback. He's been under control really the whole football game, directing his offense, and you know he knew Davidson was going to come after him tonight, and 3 or 4 times already tonight he's changed the play. He's thrown hitches all night, but now he senses a chance to go up top for the touchdown. He goes for it. Rolls the dice, touchdown.
Seems appropriate, just 3 miles from the Capital Area Humane Society. We've got a battle between dogs and cats, and right now if you're a dog lover, you're happy because your team is up by 17, 24-7. Still plenty of time left with 3:42 left to go, and if there's anything that's positive for Davidson, the last time you had the ball, you took it the length of the field for a score.
Well, and again, it's never too late. You got a quarter and 3 minutes. Again, if you could score a touchdown before the 4th quarter, it's 24-14. You're down by 10. You still got a chance, but I think that play right there really puts a dagger in the heart of the Davidson morale right now.
It was 17. They cut it to 10. It's 17 again. There's the kick, and it might
let it go. Oh.
Nope, it's going to stay in. And it'll be Reese up across the 15, across the 20, and Bo spins around, does a do-si-do around the 22-yard line. That drive was 6 plays, took 71 yards, took 2:43 off the clock. Welsh, a 31-yard touchdown catch from Poole. Jordan with the P18. We stand now at 24-7.
But it just goes to show you Brian Cross and his offensive staff have a lot of confidence in their quarterback. They allow Nathan Poole to make decisions like that, and you know he knows if he gets a blitz and he's got receivers one-on-one, he's got a chance to go up top, and he took advantage of it. It was his total yards there really dominated by Grove City.
Over 500 yards in this game. 1st and 10 now from the 22-yard line, and Shriver looking to throw. Pressure on. Downfield, the pass a little too strong for break. Coverage underneath by Mastro Giannakis. Coverage long by Brzezinski. Anybody named Smith anymore in high school football?
I don't think so.
Okay. 2nd and 10.
Well, I think the rollout play that we've been seeing all night, that's the play right there. And really the guy that runs to the inside there was Tim Skipper, and you can see when he runs through, he's got his arms up in the air as if he's looking for the ball, but he's just putting his arms up in the air so he doesn't get the flag.
2nd down and 10.
I speak from experience because we ran this play a lot in high school, and we practiced that a lot.
What did you call that when the receiver did that?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
He's running around.
Hemminger fighting inside, got away from everybody. Again, there's another situation where a guy is so small it's hard to keep track of him, and he squirts forward near the 30-yard line. He's a little diesel.
Evidence night. Well, see, that's why I'm here, to listen to those comments.
The train rolling down the track, but it's more like an HO model as opposed to the big freight.
Eric Hemminger, though, showing a great low center of gravity, really churning, spitting nails, punching hard, trying to get the 1st down, and almost popped that one.
I think we have an injury timeout on the field. It could be Brian Byerly. He's going to be helped off the field. He didn't want to come off at first, but Brian now is going to be escorted off the field. He's done a great job in the offensive line. The big right guard who plays varsity baseball as well. 6'3", 250, and a senior.
Well, you hate to see that for a senior in the last game, potentially, that he's going to play at home in nearly the 4th quarter. You hope he's going to be able to come back.
It's kind of strange because he's walking off, but perhaps a little woozy. Now seems to a little bit more arm strength as he's near the sidelines with 3:08 left to go. Ball at the 30-yard line. A nice run there by Eric on 2nd down to set up a 3rd and short, so it gives you either option here if you're Brad Shriver.
Need to come over the 1st down and move the sticks and hang on to that football. Grove City's coming after him.
Yep, they're showing you 8, in fact 9 in the box, and they keep it on the ground. They don't get it. Question, it's 4th down. You're down by 17. Everything on the line. Do you think about going for it here?
I don't think so. I think you got to punt at this point in time. But I think that's why I'm not a head coach.
I think you go for it here. I think you have nothing to lose. You're already down by 17. You either have a chance here or the game's over.
Well, they're going for it.
Just across the 30-yard line near the 31. It's going to be 4th down and a very long one. Let's see if they try to draw him off early and then try to run the play. Grove City's got everybody at the line. Shriver's going to roll. Pressure's on. He's going to be finding an opening, getting away, and falls forward to the 32-yard line. Wow, just depends on where they give him his forward progress.
Don't know if we got it, but it was a great effort, though.
Where are they going to move it back to? Ooh, he's not happy with the spot. They move it back to where the ball is touching the 32. He thought he had it across the 32-yard line with 2:14 left to go. We'll have an official's timeout and what could be the measurement of the game.
Well, you're going to see he's rolling out to his left, and we've seen this play all night tonight. And again, I think the guy that's most open on this play is Tim Skipper, who's in essence really setting the pick and trying to get Minix open. And Brad decides to tuck it up and run for the 1st down, and I think he's going to be a little short. Yep.
By about 2 inches. He comes up short, and Grove City gets the ball back. But I again defend that call because I think, if you're going to think playoffs at all, you've got to do something here and now. Now you hope for a stand from the defense, but otherwise, if you give it back to Grove City down by 17 nearing the end of the 3rd quarter, I think you've pretty much put the nail in your own coffin anyway.
Well, and again, I think that last drive by Grove City really did in Hilliard Davidson and any chances they may have had to come back in this football game. Now, now if you're Grove City in offense, you're going to run the football and you're going to try to stick it in the end zone and put this game out of reach.
Reiner and Turman in the backfield behind Poole on a 1st and 10 from the 32. And he could be changing things again. In fact, he is. Poole looking for Welsh. The short pass underneath. One-on-one coverage. Goes twirling out of bounds at around the 25, perhaps the 24-yard line. They'll mark it out at the 25.
You got a late flag thrown in the vicinity of the quarterback, and the Grove City offensive linemen are clapping. Yeah, it's going to be a personal foul
against Davidson.
Well, once again, Nathan Poole, he senses blitz, and he's going to give the ball to Brian Welsh and let him do his thing. And they're going to get a 1st down on this side of the penalty anyway.
Right now they're explaining things to Chuck Curley, who comes over and explains things now to Nathan Poole. Ball is at the 25-yard line. I would think the ball is going to go down to about the 12.5 with 2:09 left to go here. Quarter number 3 is Shriver. Talks to assistant coaches and his teammates and hopes that his team can come up with a miracle comeback in the final stanza.
Well, you never know. Defensively, again, you got to hope your defense can come up with a stop here or a turnover to try to give your offense another opportunity.
And in fact, they're marking the ball off along the near sideline, and indeed just exactly what I said it would happen inside the 13 at the 12.5. It'll be 1st and 10 from there after the personal foul.
That personal foul is probably a little bit of frustration on the part of Hilliard Davidson on the defensive line. They're trying to hang in this football game, and they're not getting the breaks. And just look at the penalty yards here. Really, Davidson 6 with 65. Grove City only 1. I think that's evidence in parallel to the scoreboard right now.
That was a false start early in this contest. Reiner, big opening up the left-hand side. Oh, and close in a hurry, lost the football. And Davidson, will they get it? They have 3 guys there. I think they've got it at the 25, but at the 15-yard line. But Reiner is still down at the 13-yard line.
DJ Weatherby coming out of nowhere to put the stick on Reiner and cause the fumble.
This would be a horrible loss for Grove City. Take a look at this one more time.
Here. Boy, this play looked like it had a lot of potential early on. And nice play.
He shut that down.
Makes the hit.
In fact, the knee, I think, of Reiner looked like it hit the turf as his ankle twisted at the same time.
It didn't look good for his knee as he went down. He's getting up quick, though. That's a good sign.
There you see the miscues so far in this contest. Total of 5. And like you said, and like I said initially on that play, there was a huge opening. But boy, I tell you what, closing down very rapidly was Weatherby to make that look like a no-gain situation. And then when the ball squirted free, Hilliard Davidson was there, Johnny on the spot to take it, and now they have 85 yards to go and 1:48 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Well, that's one of those plays that, in a quarter from now we could come back to this and say, well, this was a turning point really for Davidson. Looks like they had their backs to the wall, being down 17 points, and the game was going to be put out of reach by Grove City, and Weatherby makes a play, and now again the offense has a chance with 1:48 left in the third to try to get him back in this football game.
I'm going to ask a stupid question. Where has Darrell Stewart been? Has he re-injured his jaw or had a problem? Because I haven't seen much of him in this contest.
Well, I think part of that might be an injury, but also, you're down by quite a bit.
Look at this throw by Schreiber upfield for Minix. Oh, and just through his hands at the 40-yard line. And there's a flag at the 15. Was he past perhaps the line of scrimmage when he threw the football? The answer to that question is yes.
I believe so.
Take a look.
One I was going to say, Darrell Stewart, we haven't seen a lot of, but the guys that are going to get you back in this football game are Mark Minix and Mike Brake at the receiver positions. And Minix just about makes this catch.
Talk about total effort on two guys' parts. You could see it right there for the Wildcats, but all for naught. Good points there about Stewart that you're making earlier too, but I just thought maybe he would have some potential as a receiver too in a situation like this where you could dump it to him in the open field and find him in the flat perhaps and pick up 5 or 10 at a crack.
Well, yes and no, but I think they realize that you got to come up with a big play through the air, and I think Brad Schreiber's got to be the guy delivering it down the field.
So it'll be 2nd down and 15. Loss of down. And Schreiber wanting to throw again. Minix has it go through his hands and incomplete. Hit on the play by Mastrogiannakis.
Gets a little easier to play defense when you know the opposing team's going to throw the football. And I think Grove City realizes that they can be aggressive or they can sit back and try to make an interception, make Schreiber make mistakes.
So you go from an illegal forward pass on a play that perhaps was going to be a thing of beauty to a 3rd down and 15 situation in the snap of a finger.
Well, it's 3rd and 15, but again, you got to believe if you're Davidson that you can get the first down here, and your back's to the defense. You got to come up and make another big play. We see this formation again. We'll see if they sprint out. Here we go.
3rd and 15. Schreiber looking across the middle. It's Minix, and the pass leads him a little bit too much at the 30-yard line. It'll set up a 4th down and long. And here, I think, Craig, you do have to punt it.
I would hope so.
And let's see who punts the ball. Let's see if Stewart comes on. Perhaps he won't.
He's out there. And again, I stand corrected.
Nope, he's not out there.
I saw 33.
So it's Kaiser who's out there to punt. So I go back to my thought that perhaps Stewart became injured in this contest. There's the kick. It's a low liner. Brzezinski has it from the 42 in Hilliard territory down to around the 33-yard line. Well, again, with Darrell Stewart, we touched on the situation with the broken jaw and the plate in there and the wiring it shut and unwiring it and the things that he had to go through. And you just wonder if maybe that was a factor for him in this contest.
Well, injuries have been a factor, for Davidson this year. And again, talking to John Sainz prior to the game, he's been going through practices this year with not a lot of contact, trying to make sure these guys are healthy come Friday.
1st and 10 mark it officially at the 34-yard line with 1:22 left to go, 3rd quarter. Nothing doing there. It didn't matter who was in the backfield, whether Poole had it or the running back had it. There were 5 guys from Hilliard Davidson waiting for whoever had the football.
Leading away.
And it looked like it was Turman on the carry, and he got nothing. Poole, by the way, 8 straight completions for 118 yards. And now if you're Grove City up by 17, perhaps you do keep it on the ground for a couple of plays.
Well, I think you do, but, again, this is where you got to have the killer instinct. They've got the playoffs on the line. They control their own destiny. You had a chance on the last drive to put it out of reach, and you cough it up. Now you got to put it in the end zone, and I expect them to put this ball in the end zone within a few plays.
Maxson wide of the top. Amorine on the carry across the 35 down to around the 30-yard line. Setting up a 3rd down situation. Let's see if that's the last play or if they get off one more play here in the 3rd quarter.
The replay here, Amorine with the carry to the left, and he's had some big plays tonight. He's going to follow Andy Swigert into the hole and going to gain about 7 or 8 yards, and now you got a 3rd and 6. And we'll see if Nathan Poole is going to stick with the play, depending on what Hilliard Davidson is going to do, blitzing or playing zone defense. It looks like they're going to play zone.
To the top, Amorine to the bottom. He's looking for Amorine. He's looking long downfield. He looks for the football at the 5-yard line. The pass falls incomplete.
But the good thing Nathan Poole did there is throw the ball to the outside. He gave Joe Amorine a chance to make the play, or it's going to fall incomplete. As we see the pass here, it's high. He allows his receiver, who's got a height advantage, to go up and make the play, and he doesn't make the play, but it's 4th and 5, 4th and 6.
Just saw Darrell Stewart at the 42-yard line, out of his uniform, at least part of his uniform. He's got a hooded jacket on, and look at his feet. Perhaps he's got a problem with his leg, or maybe it's his jaw, but he is out of uniform along the sidelines for Hilliard Davidson, so that answers that question. On 4th down, Poole from the shotgun. Going to look downfield. Dumps it off underneath to Turman. Turman gets down to the 30, fights down to the 26-yard line. He's going to be short of the 1st down, and that will end things here in the 4th quarter. As we start the final stanza, the Wildcats will get it back, but the bad news, they're down by 17, 24-7 the count. Back with more here on Sport TV right after this. Stay tuned.
Say hello to Insight Communications, the new standard in cable service brought to you by the people you know. Hi, I'm Greg Graff, General Manager. Our name has changed, but our dedication to serving your family hasn't. As Insight Communications, we will be your source for all the latest technologies while remaining your best entertainment value in Central Ohio. Promises made, promises kept. You've got our word on it. Insight Communications, we're your new cable company.
Time Warner Communications puts families first with shows that kids love and parents feel good about. Animated favorites, classic movies, family series. It's television that understands what's important to you and encourages your kids to laugh, learn, explore, and dream. The family comes first on Time Warner Communications. Imagine what's next.
Welcome back. As we start the 4th quarter, we can tell you that we were told that Nick Robinson caught a 15-yard touchdown pass for Westerville South, and with about 8 minutes left in that contest, South on top of Kaufman by a count of 7-0. UCR score here 24-7. Stewart died time pretty much for the Wildcats of Hilliard Davidson, down by 17 to start the 4th quarter.
Well, their defense came up with another stop, and it's up to their offense again to try to move the football.
Pass is complete to Minix. He pays the price at the 32-yard line. A solid hit by a guy that's been all over the field defensively.
Yes, he has.
For Grove City, and that's John Mastrogiannakis.
Well, we're going to see the rollout. We've seen that quite a bit tonight, and I think Mastrogiannakis is sensing that, and he's breaking on the ball before it's thrown and puts a stick on Mark Minix.
And John already has a pick in this contest. John is easier to say than Mastrogiannakis. It takes less time, too. 11:33 left to go. On 2nd down, Shriver rolling to his left. Pressure's on. Look at this. Coming in big time. They strip the ball. Again, you could see the reach in that time. I'm telling you, it's a clinic. Spangler has done it again. Spangler reached in and knocked it away, and coming up with the football is Gino Evans. Yeah, Evans comes up with it, but it's amazing. I'm telling you, coaches should watch what Grove City do. What they do is just amazing.
We're looking at the replay here. Another sprint out to the left, and again, we've seen this sprint out time and time again. They over pursue, they force it back, they contain, and
watch the strip.
Spangler makes the play. That's 4 times now tonight we've seen Shriver get stripped, and 3 times it's been turned over.
They've turned it into an offensive play. 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. Handoff inside, and there's nothing there for the Hounds. So an interesting situation as we kind of scope things out. If Kaufman doesn't come back, as you look at the stats, we'll go ahead and do this first, and I'll tell you about the scenario. Take a look at those numbers through 3 quarters.
Well, 312 total yards to Grove City, and they've coughed it up 2 times. But really, the 13 out of 18 completions for Nathan Poole, and the big touchdown pass here late in the 3rd quarter to take them up 24-7. Really the difference in this football game. And, you know, again, Hilliard Davidson's moved the football. 249 total yards as we see, but the turnovers are really killing them. Three turnovers through 3 quarters, and they've got another one here in the 4th quarter. And Brad Shriver's been having a hard time tonight holding on to the football, but I think the credit goes to the defense from Grove City and stripping the ball and making the play.
Watch Spangler. I mean, I saw him do this against Kilbourne as well. Nelson did it. These guys just are second to none when it comes to stripping the ball.
Watch the right hand come in here, and he's going to swipe it. There it comes. Great job.
And the thing that they do, too, is not only do they swipe the ball, but they reach then and cover up with that right hand and grab across the body.
And he's wrapping up the quarterback at the same time, and that's textbook right there.
Couple of things. First of all, this is a tough injury for Hilliard Davidson because it's Aaron Besson, Mr. Everything, who's very gingerly trying to come off the field right now. The second thing is I'm wondering if our low camera people along the sidelines can find out what the situation is with Stewart. We saw him along the sideline in a parka. Perhaps it is an injury of some sort, and maybe they can relay to us what his situation is. 2nd down and 11, a loss of 1 on the play. Mark the ball back to the 23-yard line.
Well, they've been very unfortunate with injuries all year, and this is another example.
Pull. Thinking about going up top, looking for Amorine in the corner. It's a jump ball in the end zone. The pass incomplete. Minix that time playing a little DB, doing a good job defensively.
Well, Amorine, they feel he's got a height advantage, and we've seen that play a couple times tonight as they try to go up to the fade in the end zone, and we saw this play in the last series, almost completed. But Minix does a nice job of playing DB. Really, he's a great receiver and knocks it away.
Same instincts, right?
That's right.
Amorine to the top. Tight end is Heinz, also to that side of the formation. Welsh wide of the bottom. Again from the shotgun. 3rd and 11 from the 23. 1:03 into the 4th quarter. Poole looking for Welsh and leads him just a little bit too much. And Poole takes a shot. And will he get up? Yes, he's taking his time, though, getting up from the 33-yard line.
But, you know, again, even though that was an incompletion, I'm impressed by Nathan Poole there. He stayed in the pocket. He knew he was going to get hit. He stayed in there, delivered the ball where it had to be. He had to get rid of it a little bit too soon. It goes incomplete, but, you know, that's pretty tough to do. When you're a junior in high school, I'm pretty impressed with that.
This is a gray area. You might want to burn a timeout. Well, I guess they heard me. They did burn a timeout. It's a gray area if you're Grove City because the situation is here. You could probably pooch punt it if you wanted it to, but by the same token, you might as well go for it because if you're looking at a field goal, you're looking probably at about 40 yards. And Jordan's got a nice leg, but I'm not sure he can make it from 40 yards. And there are things that could go wrong in a field goal situation. You could get Hilliard Davidson one last bit of life with a problem on the snap, perhaps. So I think they're going to kind of regroup and consider their options.
Well, and Nathan Poole took a shot there, too, so I think it gives him a chance to regroup. And I think they're going to probably try to run the football or even throw it. I agree a field goal here is probably not your best option. And if you try a pooch punt, you're on the 22. I don't think you're really going to gain anything. So, I think the best play, the most conservative play, really is to go for it.
I think the great thing will be in the post game if they win. If somebody gets the game ball, who's going to wind up with it? Because I think everybody from Grove City is going to strip it from everybody else.
Oh, how appropriate that you say that.
I'm telling you, they have more strippers and more stripping moves than Gypsy Rose Lee. I've never seen a team that can take the ball away like they have. And they do it so flawlessly. I mean, it's a technique. You can tell. It's not like they're going and just reaching.
Right.
They're coming in with their body and still wrapping up to make the tackle at the same time. Indeed, they will go for it on 4th down. They need just about 11.
It's like a screen.
Yep, it will be underneath the Welsh. Yep. And
oh, my.
21 because Brake does not give up. Brake was just grabbing onto the jersey and got him at around the 20-yard line. So the Wildcats will get it back with 10:40 left and down by 17.
Great individual effort by Mike Brake. This screenplay is really set up. Nice job by Nathan Poole letting everybody come to him. Brian Welsh, the only thing he does wrong here, he might have went to the inside to allow his blockers to set up the play, and instead Brake comes up and denies him and takes him down one-on-one. And great individual effort.
And that was a thing of beauty, the way he reached out like that. He looked like a shortstop, but instead of diving for a ball, he was diving for a ball carrier. 1st and 10. Again, that pump thing that they do and then hand it off to him. And we're up the middle. 30, 35.
Ball's
40.
loose.
It's free on the turf.
Ball's loose.
I think Mastrogiannakis has it at the 42. So he's got an interception and a fumble recovery and yet another turnover in this game. And the Hounds get it back, but they lose about 20 yards in the transition.
Dare we say the ball was stripped. That's amazing. That really is. Heminger busts through. Again, he shows his quickness. We've seen this play before. The fake pass, handoff up the middle. Busts into the secondary, and he's got some speed.
Ford even tried to strip him. Now watch this. Yep,
who's
number
make
26.
The play? Yep.
That's Snyder.
Wow. Well, we sound redundant, but you got to give them a lot of credit because they keep doing it.
1st and 10 from the 42. Just over 10 and a half left to go. Handoff goes this time to number 23. That is Javon Cornelius. Javon was a guy that early in the season was a starting running back for Grove City, and then they kind of mixed it up with Reiner some, and then Nelson as well. And Javon, a guy that's 5'7", 148, and a senior, and coming into this contest, 21 carries, 103 yards, a 4.9-yard average, and runs a 4.640.
And he's quick. You can see he had some moves on that play, and fresh legs can kill in a football game. Now you got 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter. You bring a guy like
in like this, it's got fresh legs, and he could break one all of a sudden.
A loss of 1 on the play. They need 11 from the 43, and Poole wants to revise things from the line. 9:50 left, and the Wildcats are coming. Maxson has it on the quick pop. Nice move inside. 35, Maxson 30, 25, all the way down to the 23-yard line before Minix makes the stop. Mark him down officially at the 24, and Maxson's had a great contest as well for Grove City here tonight.
Well, and what you don't see in that play is Joe Amrine making a block to give him more time to run the football. As we see here again, Nathan Poole senses blitz. He changes the play. We've seen this, and you know that when you deliver the ball on time, it allows your receivers, it allows Maxson to make the guy miss, and now you got a first down.
19 yards on that reception. 1st and 10 from the 24. 9:21 left to go in this contest. 24-7, Grove City on top. One back in the backfield. Poole looking and got hit as he dumped it to Welsh, and the pass is complete. I'm telling you, no matter what he throws, it seems to be a completion.
Well, he's pretty effective, but you know, again, he senses blitz. I'm not sure if he changed the play there. It looked like he may have, but you know, when you got blitz and you got a receiver one-on-one, he knows his receiver's going to run an effective route. If he throws it on time, he's going to complete it 9 times out of 10, and he's been killing Davidson with that pass play all night tonight.
He's been killing him. I like the way you said that.
But you know, as a quarterback, you know, you want to be aggressive. You want the defense to come after you. You know, you dare them to come after you. Come after me because I know I got receivers that I can throw the ball. If I got one-on-one, I'm going to get it to him.
Halfway home on 2nd down. They need 5 more. Javon's got it again and gets up to maybe the 18-yard line. Cornelius thought he had an opening as he tried to bounce it around the right-hand side, but nothing there. A number of guys in there to make the hit. But I saw Rocky Van Horn, who's had an outstanding game in this contest for the Wildcats.
Yes, he has.
8:14 left, 24-7. Grove City willing to let that clock tick down as Welsh checks back in with the play now from Brian Cross and company. I'll tell you what, Brian Cross has put on a clinic with his squad this season. It is amazing when you look at this team. They are 9-1, and they are just so well coached. One of the best coach teams I think I've ever seen.
They're 8-1, Randy.
Well, I'm giving them this win. In the end zone.
Oh, my.
For a touchdown. Hines does it again. Hines, I didn't know he was the intended receiver. I was looking deep in the end zone, and the big tight end snares the ball, brings it to the earth.
Wow.
With 7:49 left to go, it is 30-7. You're going to make them 9-1 now?
I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're going to be 9-1.
All right.
Wow. Great throw by Nathan Poole, and Hines goes up and makes an excellent catch. These guys are executing tonight, and again, off a turnover, Randy.
Matt Hines' dad played football for the Cincinnati Bearcats. Cincinnati, that's a great basketball program. Can you say probation?
Took it on the chin.
Sure, I knew that you could. Yep. Extra point time for Mr. Jordan. There's a snap. The kick is up. The kick is good. It is now 31-7. So as I kind of look at the scenario,
we're going to look at the replay here.
Then we'll do the scenario.
Nathan Poole looks to his left, turns back to his right. He's going to have some pressure in his face, steps up and throws the ball. And Hines is going to go up and make the play. Big time right there. I'll tell you what, that's impressive.
I thought at first it was intended for Amrine. Take a look at this.
Well, Hines is running down the field with DJ Weatherby trailing him. Nathan Poole senses that. Weatherby's got his back to him. We see the replay here. Hines goes up and makes the catch, and we see Weatherby on the ground. But as a quarterback, you know, anytime you see a defender trailing and running with his back to you, you know he's open. Typically a tight end like that, you throw it right by the ear of the linebacker, and he's going to make the play.
It looks like, Greg, we might have this thing decided. Gahanna and Upper Arlington are in the playoffs, Division I, Region 2. I would say that Grove City looks like they're going to get win number 9, because I think he finally gave in there, and that'll be team number 3. If Westerville South stays on top of Dublin Coffin, you've got your 4 teams, and I'm not sure who you want playing who, and if you're a coach, I guess it doesn't matter because you've got to keep playing everybody until you make it to the finals. But those are 4 solid teams, all from the OCC to represent Division I.
They really are. You know, now it's going to be single elimination. It's not going to matter who you play. I mean, it is in essence, but really you got to get your team ready to play and win one football game and try to advance to the next week.
But Eric Tutoring Company from Kaufman might still have something to say about their matchup with Westerville South. There's still time left in that game. They were only down by a touchdown.
Well,
Maxon to kick it off.
He's got some talent on his offense, and I guarantee you they're going to try until that last whistle blows.
Up across the 20 to the 25 to the 30, and ball's loose again. It's free.
Ball's loose.
But it'll be the Wildcats coming up with the football this time. It looks like number 65, David Holstein, coming up with the ball, and Davidson will keep it with 7:39 left to go.
Unfortunately, that's been a recurring theme tonight for Davidson, putting the ball in the ground, and you know, they gave their best effort tonight, but when you cough it up that many times, we see another strip. You know, Grove City's you got to give them the credit for taking the ball away.
Guess what? They're tied at 7 right now.
Oh,
3 minutes left to go as Kaufman gets on the board against Westerville South.
Spoke too soon.
Shriver looking.
And he's going to go.
Eating the dirt. Ford made the hit on the play, back around the 20-yard line. Clinton Ford, 6'1", 207, is senior, the middle linebacker, a 2-year starter, leading tackler with 56 solos and 64 assists. Did the job that time.
That's a lot of tackles, I'll tell you what, and he showed some quickness there, getting to the quarterback and putting him on the ground.
A loss of 6, 2nd and 16 from the 21. 7 minutes left. They'll keep it on the ground this time. Short gain, maybe past the 22 to the 23-yard line.
Well, this is called playing out the string right here, Randy. 31-7. It's you know, I'm sure Davidson's very distressed at the way the results of this football game turned out, but they've had a great season. They've had some injuries, and that's really hurt them in this game and probably throughout the season. And as John Sines mentioned, it's been difficult to practice when you got guys hurt like that, and when you don't practice every day, it certainly makes it makes its appearance on Friday night. And they did their best tonight, but you know, in the long run, I think the turnovers are going to be what's going to kill them tonight.
Heminger picks up 2 on 2nd down, 3rd and 14 from the 23. Shriver rolling, looking, pressure on, brought down from behind. Once again, Mr. Ford comes a calling inside the 20 around the 17-yard line.
Well, I tell you what, that ball looks like it might come loose again. It's getting to be a little bit contagious. But Grove City, you know, look who's almost on the play there, Spangler. Yeah. They've done a nice job containing that sprint out run tonight, and you got to give their defensive coaches credit for game planning and doing that correctly. And you know, Brad Shriver's done a nice job sprinting out, but really they've shut him down.
Kaiser with the kick. Welsh from his own 49 across midfield and gets down to the Davidson 48.5-yard line. I wonder now in this situation with 5:32 left to go and you're Brian Cross, do you clear the bench a little bit offensively and maybe let Nathan Poole get a rest?
I would think so, but you know, you never know. I think yeah, I think you're going to see Nathan Poole sit this one out.
Yep. Dan Wise, I think, will come in at quarterback. Yep. He's 1 of 1 passing. He's perfect. He's got Greg Fry numbers, a quarterback rating of 134.7. A pass was good for 12 yards. Well, you know the rest of the story.
A nice opportunity to come in and you know, get some reps.
And they lost the handle on the football, and they got it back. In fact, I think Wise might have it. We'll see. Nope.
No, he didn't.
Somebody else has it down around the 48-yard line.
Like Jason Burke might have jumped on that.
Gain about a half yard on the play.
Save the day for Dan Wise. Dan's going to watch that in films tomorrow, and coach is going to say, "Come on, Dan, you know, get the ball first." But I'm telling you, as a backup quarterback, when it's cold on a night like tonight, when you come in the game, you haven't played the whole game, you got to get the snap.
Were you ever a backup quarterback? Ever?
Yes, I was.
Really?
Yes, I was.
I want to touch on that in just a second. 2nd down and 9 3/4. It's Cornelius with an open
fresh leg.
Javon to the 35, Javon to the 30, the 25. Cornelius all the way down to the 22-yard line. When, pray tell, were you a backup quarterback?
I was a backup quarterback in high school as a sophomore. I'd started some games as a sophomore, but at Ohio State, I was a backup quarterback my redshirt freshman year. In the first game against West Virginia, the game's out of reach. It's 24-3. There's 10 seconds left on the clock. We get the ball back, and Earl Bruce turns around and says, "Where's Fry?" Sends me in, and he goes, "I want you to go in." And remember, this is my first play ever as a Buckeye. Now go in, take the snap, and kneel on it. True story. And I did.
And
I got
negative 2 yards rushing.
And I got the snap.
And you caught it.
And that's about where I ended up my career, too, minus yardage.
1st and 10 for the 21. Big hole inside for Burke, and Burke lost the football. It's still free around the 10-yard line. It's rugby time. And Hilliard Davidson perhaps has the ball now. It bounces back to around the 13-yard line.
They do have it.
The Wildcats have it. An outstanding scrum. And we'll give it back to Hilliard Davidson with 4:17 on the clock.
That's exactly what that was.
And by the way, yes, I've done rugby.
Have you?
Yes, we have. The Ohio Rugby Classic. And once is enough.
To say I was impressed would be, you know, an understatement right now, Randy.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Sport TV does it all, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to work with a great one like Greg Fry, who does so much for 610 WTVN. And I'm not going to mention my affiliation to AM 920 WMNI.
We won't mention that.
All right, or their sister stations, the Blitz or the Eagle. Handoff, they keep it inside. Could be Heminger, who gets it up to around the 15-yard line with 4:10 left to go in this contest. Hilliard Davidson down right now by 17 points. And Eric, though, not giving up, the 5'3" massive running back for the Wildcats with a nice gain on 1st down.
Well, and to go back, we just saw the graphic for the turnovers. 5 turnovers by the home team, Davidson, and 3 by Grove City, a couple of which are coming late here. But the ball has been loose tonight. It's not a full moon tonight, Randy, but I'll tell you what, it's been a wild night. The strippers were loose for the Grove City defense.
Yeah,
in a good way.
We like that. Rated R. That's cable TV. You can say that.
That's right.
Shriver rolling left, looking downfield. Wants to gun for break. Overthrows him. Coverage by Mastrogiannakis. Also Price.
Shriver took a shot there. Clint Ford, of course, he's been making some plays here in the 4th quarter. Put it on him as he released the football.
Ford has been really just teeing off in this last quarter.
You know, I got to say, Brad Shriver's had a tough night tonight. He's taken a lot of shots, but he's really hung in there. He hurt his ankle early in the game, and he's gutting it out. And, you know, even though the results aren't coming out the way he wants, he has sucked it up, and there's a lot to say for that. He's had a very good year with this football team. They've had a great year, and they're going to come up on the short end tonight, but they're giving great effort.
3rd and 8 from the 15. The handoff goes inside. A gain of 2, maybe 3 on the play. It's going to be a punting situation for the Wildcats. Under 3.5 left to go.
You know, and how crucial was it not to have Darrell Stewart really for most of the second half, but if not a portion of the first half. You know, he's been their go-to guy all year, and when he's not in there, it makes a difference in this football game. And we see 3rd down conversions. Grove City really, you know, there's a difference in the football game. 6 out of 11. Davidson 2 out of 9. You know, when you convert on 3rd downs, you're moving the chains and hopefully scoring some touchdowns, and they certainly did tonight.
And a whistle and a timeout taken now by Hilliard Davidson. Perhaps it has something to do with the number of players on the field.
Or lack thereof.
There you go. So they'll burn a timeout with exactly 3 minutes left, so you get your 3-minute warning here tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to like Grove City's chances in the playoffs. You know, when you look at the people that are touching the ball on offense for them, you've got 3 or 4 running backs that are touching the football. When you got Reiner, Burke, Turman, Amrine, and Matt Nelson not even playing tonight. With Matt Nelson in there, how formidable would they be running the football, let alone passing the football?
Well, and what he can do in the secondary, too. He was the guy that picked off a couple of passes and stripped a couple of balls in that game against Worthington Kilbourne, and actually probably had his best game of the season last week in their win over Dublin Kaufman by a count of 34-16. So you wonder in his situation if he can come back next week after that problem with his foot.
Well, I did ask Brian that before the game, and Brian felt that you know, next week he might be able to play. And you never know with an injury like that. You certainly hope it is, but I'll tell you what, tonight they showed that they can play without him. They've got a lot of talent. When you got a quarterback that's a leader, as Nathan Poole is, you got a solid defense and you can run the football, and you got all those weapons on offense. You can hang in there with any football team, and you know they got a chance to go a long way.
It's a fake, goes to the up man, and there is nothing there. They're brought down inside the 15-yard line. It goes to break, and he has to put him on at around the 13-yard line. So Grove City will get it back with 2:56 left to go.
Well, one of the first guys there was John Spangler, who's had a huge night stripping the football and recovering a couple fumbles. He's been all over the field.
Tell you what, Spangler's been outstanding. Ford's had a great game.
Yes.
But, you know, for me, everything centers offensively around the leadership of Poole. If he runs the show like he does tonight, it's hard to compare or match a squad like that because he is the catalyst for this team.
He certainly is. And again, the defense creates 5 turnovers.
Cornelius cuts it back. Look at this. He goes right, then left. He's going to win the race to the end zone if he has enough oxygen, and he does. From about 14 yards out, he has a touchdown. And it's now 37-7, and he'll celebrate if his teammates don't kill him first.
Well, there you see an exclamation point to a very good football game on the part of Grove City. And I think the score is really indicative of how much they have controlled this football game.
And it's good to see a kid like this get a chance to take it in for the touchdown. He was one of the starting running backs at the beginning of the season. Of course, Grove City trying to sort some things out in the backfield, and his playing time was cut back, but he's stuck with it, and here he gets a chance to score and perhaps offer the icing on the cake for the Hounds. Jordan with the PAT. The snap, the kick is up, and I'll tell you what, he has been flawless tonight.
Yes, he has, and that's a good point. He kicked the field goal early in the game when it was 7-0. To put him up 10-0 at the time was a significant factor in this football game. If you look at the replay here, you're going to see Javon cut it back twice, and then he sees the corner of the end zone, and he's gone.
Looks like you against Minnesota a few years ago.
Yeah, but I wasn't running. I was running for my life in the first half, I can tell you that.
Oh, what a comeback.
We'll forget it.
I'll tell you what, let's take a look quickly at that when we have the time. The Buckeyes and Michigan State. We tape this on a Friday night. Your thoughts about that contest?
Well, it depends on which Michigan State team is going to show up. They've shown some promise in a couple of games this year. They whooped Notre Dame. But I look at that game as it's at night. They're coming off a couple losses. They're playing at home. It's on national TV, and they really rose to the occasion. And that's an emotional game for them. But other than that, they've been an okay football team. And I think, if they show up and play and run the football with Cedric Irvin, they can hang in the football game. But I really believe Ohio State, as well as they're playing, Ohio State is going to control that football game as much as they want to. And I got to think Ohio State will win that game convincingly. My
question is, if you're starting a team right now on the high school level, who do you want at your quarterback position, Poole or Slager from up Arlington?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've seen some good quarterbacks this year, and both those kids have played some great football all year long. And this is my first chance to see Nathan Poole, and he's done a tremendous job. And I think, again, I think Brian Cross has got to be pretty confident with a quarterback like that he knows Nathan's going to lead this football team, and he did it tonight, and I think he can do it through the playoffs.
Maxon with a kick on the return. It is Heminger. Heminger up across the 25 to the 29-yard line, and he's brought down right there. And the hit made on the play, hey, somebody new is going to get a chance for some credit. And I'm going to tell you right now that it's Chris Veer. Normally you think of that as an offensive name, but Veer with some D there making the hit. With 2:42 left to go, it'll be Davidson with the football from their own 29-yard line, down 38-7.
But you talk about, having a quarterback that's an experienced quarterback. That's what a great formula to win in the playoffs, whether you're in the high school level or at collegiate level. Ohio State's got Joe Germain. When you got a guy like that and a sound defense and a back where you can run the football, you can win a lot of football games.
And they're right up the middle across the 35. And I never thought I'd say this about a guy who's 5'3", but he carries a couple guys up to the 38, and there's a flag resting at the 26-yard line.
Well, Eric's done a nice job filling in for Darrell Stewart tonight, running very hard. Again, he's hard to spot out there, but I'll tell you what, he's got some guts and he runs hard.
Somebody doing naughty things with their hands on the offense with 2:34 left to go. And we will move it back. 38-7, the count in this contest. It has been Grove City dominant, especially here in the second half. They have really move things out the way they wanted to. The one thing that they probably want to improve is they had a couple of turnovers themselves, Greg, trying this contest.
They did, and I think they weren't at critical stages, but they responded well after the turnovers. I think that's the impressive thing. Their defense really stepped it up when they had to. And you mentioned Nathan Poole, but I'll tell you what, defensively they got after it tonight, creating those turnovers and stripping the football. And when you can do that and give your offense more opportunities, you're going to be successful most times.
March the ball back to the 17-yard line. They need to get it up to the 39, so they need 22 errant first down with 2:15 left to go. And Heminger out across the 25, out to the 28-yard line.
Well, I think, when you analyze this football game, and, when I looked at the stats coming in here, you knew that Darrell Stewart was the go-to guy for Davidson. If you shut him down, you're going to put the pressure on Brad Shriver and make him beat you. And I think that's really what Grove City tried to do coming in. And, unfortunately for Davidson, Stewart got hurt, and it really put a lot of pressure on Shriver and his receivers, Minix and Brake. And that, when you're trailing in a football game against a good defense like that, it's hard to come back.
Skipper and Minix wide at the bottom of the formation. But they keep it on the ground, and the carry by Heminger has it up to the 30-yard line as we're down to 90 seconds left to go in this contest.
You know, it's a similar scenario with Michigan State, Ohio State. If you can shut down Cedric Irvin, he's been their go-to guy running the football. You want to make Bill Burke beat you, and I think if you're Ohio State, if you shut down Irvin, Bill Burke is not. He's a good quarterback, but he's not capable of beating Ohio State.
I think Michigan State is kind of a reflection of the Big Ten so far this season. You know, occasionally some up moments, but a lot of the times they've been down, and I think that's the way you could characterize the Big Ten season outside of teams like Ohio State and Penn State and Wisconsin. And Hilliard trying to take it outside, gets up to around the 33, 34. You can hear the pops from here, and the Gatorade shower of Brian Cross along the far side of the field. Yet in sweat, shirt, and shorts, he got nailed. Take a look at that.
I hope he's smiling. Somebody's going to pay the price. He's laughing about it. He's laughing.
That's got to be cold.
That's what you get for wearing shorts. As you look at the replay.
I would have shaved my legs at least. Take a look from ground level.
Heminger, we'll see in the background, but you can see the ice fly.
27 seconds left to go and ticking.
I think Brian's fortunate that it's under a minute to play, and he's going to get to the locker room and get warm.
Minix with another catch. Finds an opening, dances out across the 40.
Flag.
Yep, we might keep things going with 15.8 left on the clock. In fact, I see 2 different flags.
Well, I think you're seeing some frustration on the part of Davidson here. Really, it's going to go the other way.
But foul on Grove City.
There's been a lot of extracurricular here in the last quarter, in the last couple series on both sides of the ball. And you know, these guys are playing their hearts out, and one team's going to go to the playoffs, one team's not, and that's a tough pill to swallow when you've got a pretty good football team as Davidson did this year, and they're going to come up just a little bit shy.
So they march off the penalty against the Hounds, and if they keep it on the ground, this next play should be the last one of the regular season. And we'll, in the post game, take a look at our Central Ohio Sport TV players of the game, look at the stats from this contest, also break down the playoff scenario as best we can in Division I. Hopefully we'll have some final information on Kaufman and South as well. 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. And nope, they're going to go up top, so we'll have more action in this contest. The pass for Minix overthrown, but we have yet another flag at the 41-yard line with, I think that's an 8.9 on the clock. That's a new number.
Well, Minix had a chance there. The defender fell down.
Personal foul this time on Hilliard Davidson. I'm not sure if he might have had an ejection too.
Well, again, it's frustration coming out. You know, you got some emotional kids out there that they fought all season long to get in this position to go to the playoffs and play that extra game. And again, Davidson's going to come up a little bit shy. And that's not an easy pill to swallow at this point in time of the season. You've made it this far and you came so close, and you're not quite going to get there. But I can tell you from experience, that's part of the game of football. You know, you work hard to reach that goal, and you're not always going to get there. But they gave great effort this year, and they need to be commended for that.
Once again, my guess is correct because I saw the thumb with the old heave-ho, and that's what we have. And yet another flag thrown on the field. And this is a case where, you know, the composure has been lost by Davidson. You know, you let it go right here. You're not going to gain anything. Probably going to have to see this crew again next year, so just call it a season and move on. And they're trying to plead their case right now. It's a 31-point margin. I just think you let it go right here, no matter whether you're in the right or not.
With a few seconds left in the game, I think, you know, I'm not so sure the referee shouldn't just keep the flag in the pocket and let's get out of here.
Personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct against Hilliard Davidson. We have the ejection.
And that may be Coach Sines. And I think he's frustrated because they're going to get another one.
And there's another flag.
Yeah, he's frustrated, and that's unfortunate. And I think he's more frustrated because he said a few things there that maybe he shouldn't have, and you know, he probably feels the referees ought to just let it go.
Well, the good news is you can only be ejected once, so once you leave, you don't have to come back and leave again. This would be different if it was 72 degrees tonight, but it's a little cooler than that.
That's right.
We'll wrap it up. Greg Fry will be the interim head coach for the last 8.9 seconds of this contest.
Well, it's disappointing. You know, he talked in the pregame about having guys hurt, you know, not being able to practice all week with all his guys, and you know, when you're stressed out like that, and you get in a football game and you lose a couple of your guys, and you lose your tailback and Stewart, who's the guy. I mean, he's their main guy, and it becomes difficult, and you know, you're really fighting an uphill battle against a great football team.
So we had 3 personal fouls, if I'm adding correctly here, with 2 ejections, a player ejection and a coach ejection. So that's what, 45 yards? So in theory, it should be 1st and 55 if I can add the math, and they can mark off all the penalties so it's not half the distance to the goal.
There's one.
Now we're going to take it to the 29. And from the 29, we should take it to the 14.5-yard line, I think. I think we got one more left, don't we?
Well, and it's all unraveling right now for Davidson. But again, you got to look at the positive. They've had a great football season. They probably don't want to feel that right now. They're feeling some pain. They're feeling some disappointment. Emotionally, this is very difficult. But they've had a good football team. They've made it as far as they could. They really stretched out their season and gave themselves an opportunity to come into tonight and maybe try to slide into the playoffs.
Timeout taken by Hilliard Davidson on a 1st and 54. This is where I become the offensive coordinator.
What do you
Here's
do here,
where I
Andy?
can't go wrong. What I do right now is come out and I tell a couple of jokes. And then I say, guys, I want you to know that it's been a great season. Don't let what has happened in the last 2 minutes mar your thoughts about your senior campaign. If this is your last year, remember all the positives. Let's go out and play hard on this last play of the game and remember this as a 7-3 season and not remember what's happened in the last 2 minutes.
Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself.
God bless the USA.
Oh.
We'll see what happens. And again, I think that we're going to see the OCC dominating. And I want to ask you this in the postgame, but think about it now. You don't have to give your answer now. I want your opinion as to how well teams from Central Ohio can do in the playoffs in Division I. We've been focusing on D1 here tonight because of what's been on the line. Think about that, Greg, and we'll get your thoughts about that in the postgame. And don't forget, Sport TV might be ending its high school football regular season, but so much more coming your way. We've got OSU women's volleyball on the line. Next week they take on Penn State. We'll have it right here. Yours truly and Audrey Flaw with the call. Chill hockey is just around the corner. We'll have that. Then Ohio State women's basketball from the Schottenstein Center will have action. OSU hockey from the Schottenstein Center. All that as well as we look at some of the crew working on this contest. Our thanks to everyone from Sport TV. That could be Greg Baker, I think, down there. It is. That's scary. He's out of here. We just ejected him just for having a bad mustache. Is that a final score? I've just been told that Kaufman won 14-7. Heminger on the carry out across the 25 up to around the 27-yard line, and that'll do it. Well, we'll get another call in on that game from Westerville South and sort through the scenarios that will then take place. But we can tell you this game is history. And what a performance by Grove City. They are in the playoffs. They are a lock. In fact, according to my calculations, they'll probably be in first place in Division I Region 2. And it should be a great first week in the regional semifinals with the OCC playing some tough football. Our final count, 38-7, Grove City over Hilliard Davidson. We'll wrap it up. Not only the game, but the entire season here on Central Ohio Sport Television right after this. Stay tuned.
They walk on the moon before breakfast. They fall in love after one great kiss. They escape death by a millisecond and then tango. And they make their magic on Time Warner Communications. Explosive performances, classic bombshells, original stories, and powerhouse hits. Lose yourself in the magic of movies on Time Warner Communications. Imagine what's next.
Hi, I'm Ohio State head football coach John Cooper. The choices our young people make today can affect them for a lifetime. High school sports programs are positive alternatives to some of the things our youngsters face in society today. The lessons student athletes can learn on the field or court from teamwork, discipline, and sportsmanship can last a lifetime. So support efforts to promote and maintain high school sports in your community.
This message brought to you by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and your local cable television system.
Welcome back to a chilly Hilliard Davidson High School, but a team that's red hot right now is Grove City. The visitors are victorious by a count of 38-7 in week number 10 of high school football action here on Sport TV. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Randy Reinhardt alongside Greg Fry. And Greg, what a performance tonight by the Greyhounds.
Pretty impressive victory on the road. You got the playoffs at stake. You're playing against a very, very tough Hilliard Davidson team, but Grove City goes on the road, gets it done. Looks like they're going to make the playoffs convincingly now. They got some confidence after tonight's win.
We'll touch on the playoff scenario in just a second, but time now to pick our Central Ohio Sport Television players of the game. And first of all, for Grove City, the guy we talked about in the open is the guy that we'll talk about in the close. Nathan Poole was phenomenal.
Well, Nathan Poole had a tremendous night tonight. 17 out of 24, 212 yards and 3 touchdowns. The best thing he did was coming in was to read the blitz, the Davidson blitz, to pick it up. He changed plays a number of times tonight, a couple times for touchdowns, and really he found his receivers when he had them one-on-one. He did a great job of delivering the ball, and I think that was really the difference in this football game.
Meanwhile, when you look at Hilliard Davidson, we went with the MM guy. The guy that I'm talking about is the wideout, number 8, Mark Minix. He was outstanding.
Well, Mark had a nice job tonight, 6 receptions, 96 yards for a touchdown. We're going to see the touchdown play here. And did a great job really tonight when, with the tailback out. Somebody had to step up and make plays, and Mark was the guy. Unfortunately, they only had 7 points, and you got to have more when you're on the when you're at home like this trying to make the playoffs, and unfortunately not enough to get it done.
Mark now on the season, 42 catches. That is the record here for Hilliard High School. Well, time now to look at the final numbers from this contest as Grove City advances to 9-1. We'll check out the final stats. And, Greg, what do you see there when you check that out? I personally see 8 turnovers in this contest.
Really, and the turnovers, ultimately were the difference. Hilliard Davidson turned it over 5 times, and you got to give the credit to the Grove City defense, as we talked about, for stripping the football, and they converted those turnovers into points. But the total yards really is the story of this football game. A balanced attack by Grove City, running the football and throwing it. And, of course, the Poole was 17 out of 24 for 3 touchdowns. That's a tremendous effort offensively for Grove City.
So Davidson falls to 7-3 under John Sines. They had a great season, nothing to be ashamed of. Grove City stays alive at 9-1. All right, let's take a shot at the playoff scenario. Division I, Region 2. Upper Arlington is in. Okay, that's a lock. Gahanna is in. Grove City is not only in, but I think because of the points they pick up tonight, they may vault to number 1. It doesn't matter, the top 4 qualify. Now, Westerville South lost at home tonight to Dublin Kaufman, 14-7. A touchdown in the last minute gave Eric Tudor and company the victory. The Rocks are victorious.
You're watching Kaleidoscope Television.
It is a disease with a name that evokes a dismal image of aging, decline, and death. It often robs those who suffer with it of their energy and quality of life. For hundreds of years, this disease was called dropsy and treated with an extract of the foxglove plant. Today, it is known as heart failure. Heart failure burdens the lives of millions of men and women of all ages and puts a tremendous strain on our medical care system. Welcome to the Cutting Edge Medical Report. I'm Nancy Dewar. Each week we bring you the latest healthcare news from distinguished experts at America's leading hospitals and research centers. This week's edition focuses on congestive heart failure, a chronic disease that will be diagnosed over 400,000 times this year. Our guest host today is Dr. Mark Silver. Dr. Silver is professor of medicine and director of the Loyola University Outpatient Heart Failure Center at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood, Illinois. Please stay with us for cutting-edge information on congestive heart failure.
We could also pick you up when you get back. Right, Shelby?
Well, if you bring me a present.
Well, even if I do have to bribe Shelby, I really appreciate it, and I'll miss you both.
Marcy, look over there.
Oh, sign language is so beautiful. I've just always wanted to learn it. How in the world did Shelby learn to sign?
Found these wonderful videotapes that show a deaf family and really make it fun.
Now you can begin learning sign language. Order the first lesson, only $29.95. Call now, 1-800-488-7838, 1-800-488-7838.
When you visit San Antonio, enjoy leisure dining at La Paloma del Rio, serving authentic Mexican cuisine.